Market back in positive territory here to kick off a brand new week, brand new month of June as well. Happy June 1st trading day. Anyways, we are dealing with positive futures right now. We are looking at a busy economic calendar this morning as well. It's all going to get going at 9:45. We'll get the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI at 9:45, followed by the more closely watched ISM version of the same coming through for May. A ton of things this week, though. And it'll be capped off with the May non-farm payrolls coming up at the end of the week. Meanwhile, there are some Federal Reserve, or Bank of Canada anyways, and the ECB on watch this week as well. Bank of Canada expected to actually make a cut coming up this week. ECB, I was reading this morning, expected to follow suit. Who cares about all that? Because GME's up
exactly
80% here in the pre-market. Don't ever count out the meme stocks.
Let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about, Brendo. GME, AMC, all the memes running, roaring kitty coming out over the weekend, basically disclosing a huge position that he says he has in the position or in the name, and that's had all the traders that we have today on the floor. Even before I was in, Brendo, they were here punching.
Yeah, 7:15 I heard, which is great to see, obviously. A ton of opportunity, ton of volume behind this move already, trying to hold $40 here as it's been for most of the pre-market. Spent some time below, spent some time above for GME. It's worth noting some of the others, following suit. There's AMC, 25% to the upside here. BlackBerry. Yep, it's up as well, $3 coming back into play. So yeah, don't ever count these out. There is big cap tech news as well. AMD taking on NVDA right to its face, saying we're coming for you with a brand new chip for the AI race.
Watched that whole long presentation from Jensen yesterday, making the case for a shorter cycle. That's going to be huge. The GPUs were being updated every 2 years. Expect that to be now 1 or less. People even saying 6 months because the announcement for Blackwell was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we have Rubin.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this. If you look at the speed at which AI itself is developing, and the speed at which that race is coming along, they almost have to keep up with the demand of the overall technology. But yeah, there's AMD nicely higher this morning, along with most of the semiconductors. So much to talk about this morning, guys. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday for sure. Get that sip of coffee in while it's good. I was like, they stole Sharif getting a little sip in there. You got to, because you got to be juiced up today. The meme names are going to be in play. The boys were here early. Like, it was crazy. The boys were here early. And the crazy thing about it, it was like right after the big move. The biggest move that happened in the pre-market was right after everybody is basically logged in.
Any money.
No, if you watch the chart of GME, like right at 7 o'clock, there was one little ramp, and then it's been in a downward trend ever since. So you kind of had to be patient for it to make a bottom. Ultimately, at 7:40, it made the bottom, and then the higher lows, which is, I think, when you could really start playing it back. So if you're really, really early, like 6:30, you would have been great. But we got a long day ahead of us. All the memes are going to be in play because of this. Clearly, Roaring Kitty letting everybody know what his position is and that he's aggressively back into this bad boy, has the stock churning. Don't want to sleep on. NVIDIA's up 3.5 points today. And we saw the rally at the end of the day on Friday. It was a rip your face off rally to end the month in the final 15 to 20 minutes. So every chip name was already momentum up on the end of the day on Friday. You had on top of that the news coming out that there's more of a battle, AMD and NVIDIA releasing new chips. That should be good. We've got some delivery numbers out of China. That's kind of like an ancillary name. There's some decent looking charts out there, but it's going to be hard to want to trade XPeng and Li Auto when you've got GameStop and when you got AMC and when you got NVIDIA hunting back for that fresh high.
Yeah, Apple. Hey, what's up, Randy?
I just got one, thanks.
Yeah, I'll take a coffee. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Yeah. Was he on the screen or no? Was he here? Oh, he was. Okay. By the time I turned around, he was already out of here. Okay. Yeah, I'm long GameStop here at $40, but we could have already got it out here at 41. Like almost at VWAP there, almost $42. But we're just going to wait to see. I'm going to get out if it breaks 39 or so here on GameStop. I mean, it's just, we'll see. It's going to be moving around. Obviously, right off the open, should be a pretty wild one. Just for the imbalances, it's not on here. So that's a little strange to me. Where
Well,
AMC is
early.
here, which makes sense.
Early.
So 600,000 for AMC, but really surprising, nothing on here for. Hold on, let me sort it by size. There it is. Okay, there it is. So there you go. Not early enough. 1 million right here for GME. So it's going to be good enough to go. So GME and AMC, the big ones upside. You got Space trying to get through $1 as well. Oh, Barnes & Noble down here, 52 cents, trying to go. Not really. Well, it's flat, right? Oh, no, Barnes & Noble up 16%. Okay. Yeah, so a couple names. What about UiPath? This was a name from last week that, of course, reported. So there's UiPath right now, down flat on the day, down from that $18 mark where they reported 12 bucks. I like $12 on UiPath. GameStop starting to go down, breaking through $40. So here we go. Volume starting to pick up, I guess, a little bit here on GameStop. But there it goes, trying to break through 40 and does. Let's see if it winds up holding these lows. Lots of stuff to go through today. It's the AMD, they turned on the machines there at the end of the day on Friday. And I don't know, like the last 2 hours, everything was straight up. So the NASDAQ had a horrible day, and then it didn't all of a sudden. And that was in that last little bit as month-end programs just buy everything right back up. And then now today you're back above 170. So, you know, longs in 168, 168.50, something like that for AMD should play as well. But we normally have Michael Noss coming on at this time, and I know how much he loves GME.
Before we get to Michael, I know he's coming on in a little bit. And look, you hear him mention. He's not in the ready room, so he can't really hear us. But you hear him sort of always jokingly talk about, investing in meme stocks and how that can get you into trouble. But, at the end of the day, there's lots of different paths to freedom and wealth. And ultimately, whether it's trading, whether it's long-term investing, as long as you have some kind of a plan, there's many different avenues in which you can get yourself to the next level financially. And we're here to talk about, we day trade all the time, but this is what's valuable about the Freedom Wealth podcast. Brand new, first episode came out this weekend. If you haven't listened to it, you're missing out a little bit. I think you go out there, just hit the subscribe first so that you know when it's dropping every single week. But listen to that first one. It's a little bit of a different pace. It's a little bit of a different mentality because it's not just about this trading that we're going to talk about every single day. So I think that was fantastic. I don't want to spoil too much of what's in it. There was some discussion even about the memes and how they can be part of, and trading can be part of your plan. It's not just about trading, everybody. So this is a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, check out, what's up, Randy here? Whoopsies, where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, check out the quality here. This is a completely different look for us right now. Look at that. Look at this handsome guy right here. Brendan, we're just chilling out. It's been a good one. And then some of the comments, thank you so much for it. They love the intro. We're awesome. Can you have a boot camp where Sean teaches day trading? Yep. Hey, what's up? Welcome, 8:30. Amazing podcast, full of knowledge. The comments are so nice. But, check it out. Really, really impressed with the quality of work on the podcast. Thank you to Fabian. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Brendan.
Shout out,
and
Mark.
Thank you to everybody. And by the way, we also
great.
just got more GameStop shares long. So I just pushed my thing, but it did not work. So we'll sit on there and load up Stream Deck. But Randy's gone again. Oh man, this guy just comes and goes pretty quickly there.
This one?
As we go. Yeah, I was gonna do the to the moon one.
Oh no!
There you go. I did.
Oh, I thought
I loaded Stream Deck.
See,
up.
that's the apes.
That's the apes.
This
yeah.
is
Well, we
the
need to have
freaking
apes.
moon.
We need to have the apes. We need to have like a roaring kitty one. I mean, I'm surprised we got.
Well, that
now that it's
plays
back.
itself.
Now that it's back.
You get a kitten, and then I don't know. There's all kinds of things you could do with that, Fabian.
Yeah, he will. He'll get that. Oh, did you? I mean, even our thumbnail today was pretty hot. I like that. We can have that little cat on our thumbnail that's blowing up there today. I have to go find. Hold on, let me show everybody what this thumbnail looks like. Who did this? Fabian, you did this? Right there, look at this. Whoa, no, shoot. When you click on it, it goes away, duh. Right here, there it is. It's right there. I like that.
Sorry.
I like that. All right, back to the desk.
All right, BPTH, another one that's flying around here this morning, just popped up again on a volume scanner. So, I mean, there's a ton of these little tiny ones. This one just popping up in front of me. 7.5 million shares already for BPTH, another one. That tends to go with some of these other meme type names. I see Michael Noss is about to come on here. I was just trying to find his, there we go. his email that he sends to me every single morning with what he would like to talk about. So whenever you guys are ready, let's bring in Michael Moss for a look at a Monday morning here. That's going to be an interesting week ahead of, as I said, a ton of economic data to come this week, including non-farm payrolls at the end of the week with Friday. Not a heavy earnings type of week, but we do have a couple of IPOs. Interesting, Thursday and Friday this week. I'll talk about that in a second, but do we have him, guys? When he's ready, bring him in. There we go.
I'm here.
You get a fancy transition just to make it official that it's
I
Michael.
love it.
It's Michael Moss time. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm here talking about monthly charts, and then I wake up and GameStop's going again. So
It will have
week.
it will have a really nice monthly chart once this finishes.
Maybe, or maybe it'll be another giant
Red
popping
candle.
tail like the last one, right?
Good point. Talk us through what you're looking at.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, I'm going to zoom out to some monthly charts here. It's very rare that the segment that I do, I have fresh new monthly candles. And I make this argument every time, and this is something that a buddy of mine, I think you guys have actually had on, JC from All Star Charts, taught me that regardless of whether you're a day trader, a short-term swing trader like myself, or a long-term investor, once a month, we get new monthly candles, and it's definitely worth your time to sit back and kind of zoom out and get a good overall look at what's happening in the market, because those themes will nail down. If the market is incredibly bullish and going up month after month, then even as a day trader, just might mean you lean a little bit more to the long side, right? So, even though these are really long term, just note that. And like any good chart nerd, probably the reason Brendan couldn't find the email right away is this is what I was doing on Saturday night. I went through about 150 monthly charts to bring you guys the ones that I thought were interesting. But I have to talk about the S&P 500 because that's everything that we watch. And really, it's if you're just zooming out, we looked at the craziness that happened on Friday where we're gapping down and selling off and then reversed into highs. But for now, we're just digesting. We're now 3 months or so with pretty much no movement. If you zoom in closer, it ends up being a little bit more frantic, but really not a lot going on. So next we go here to XBI. This one was very interesting to me. What I'm trying to do when I'm looking at these monthly charts is A, look at overall trends, and B, look at symbols that I think are in interesting areas. I'm not going to trade off the monthly chart, but when something like XBI here gets my attention, when I'm going to zoom in and I'm looking at my daily chart and even intraday charts, I know that I'm interested in potentially getting long some biotechs. So we broke out of this range. You can see I just denoted with that little down arrow. Broke out of that range, came back, we pulled into it, and we put in a nice little month last month. Also, the pink line just coming off the bottom there, that's the anchored VWAP. So we could have some decent support here on biotechs. So again, if I see biotechs come through my scan, that's something I definitely want to keep an eye on. Next one here, it's kind of in the same theme, and this is healthcare stocks. So healthcare stocks had 5 months up in a row, pulled back pretty hard, and this is probably why the Dow actually was leading or lagging some of this movement that we've had in the markets. Pull back down, holding that 140 level on XLV. Sorry, so XLV, which is our healthcare index. So just like biotechs, if I start to see healthcare names coming through, I can check that out as well. Next, we're looking here at XLE. So now our energy sector, nice little breakout and then pull back on the energy sector. Nice little bottoming tail. I love when you see very clear resistance areas like this break and pull back. I know Neil likes this from an intraday point of view. I like it from daily charts. So makes sense that it would hold true in monthly charts as well. So far we're kind of in themes here, right? And that's what I want to develop is the theme I'm going to be looking at, biotech and energy, because this next one makes perfect sense as well. So this is solar. Me and Sean have been talking a lot on the after hour show about this area in solar. You can see now we probably have 6 months or so of just chop and digestion. That could be accumulation going on in this area with a very nice bullish engulfing month last month. So I'm interested in solar around this area. So if I'm starting to see energy names, I kind of classify solar in that energy department as well. I'm going to start taking a look there as well. 2 more to go. One is ticker MOO. So this is an agriculture ETF where we're having a pullback to a really strong prior area and then again 5-6 months of just sideways action. You notice that there are no tech names here because those charts, although look good, they've just been straight up. So these are the ones that I think could have turning points coming in. So these are what I want to focus on. And if we look at things like biotech and we look at things like energy and now agriculture, might not be good for inflation, because we know, especially in the States, that inflation, the healthcare costs can be part of inflation and pretty high. We know that energy and agriculture could be part of inflation as well. Now, this last chart is kind of, we all know how much I love gold, and I've been talking about this gold breakout for a long time, and we've been participating in it. It feels like years I've been talking about gold. This is what is called a potential. I need to channel my Brian Shannon, potential tweezer top here in gold, where you have two candles that come up to about the same area and then get rejected. So we have been rejected from 220 now twice in the gold ETF. For me, that's a reason to take a little bit off the table, see if this tweezer top develops and we pull back a little bit lower and then zoom in for more action. But just like sometimes I find charts like I just showed you that have areas of interest to me when I'm going through these monthly charts, sometimes I see warning signs. It doesn't mean that I'm now a gold bear and I think it's going to zero, but it means that this is a warning sign. And for someone like me who owns a lot of gold, it's going to be a reason, I think, to take a little bit of profit there.
A quick question. When we look at monthly charts, I think it's important to zoom out from a mindset perspective as well and understand that this is not necessarily a trade setup that we're looking at. How do you take from these charts the information and then go and say, okay, I want to participate in this group maybe this week or next week?
Yeah, so for me, I'm taking notes heavily when I've got the iPad, the little pencil thing on it, and I'm sitting there and I'm just jotting notes. And those notes just end up being general themes. So as I went through this, the themes that I tried to paint to you guys is what I was writing down. Solar is in an interesting area. Energy is in an interesting area. And then I just kind of have these notes, like Sean has his sticky notes. I have them up on my computer somewhere so that when I'm doing my day-to-day work, which is going through my trade ideas scans and trying to figure out, which charts look good, if I see something that's in the energy sector, I go back to that note and said, oh, I'm pretty long-term bullish energy if we're holding this level. So it just kind of gives me, I guess, a forest for the trees type of look. I get a nice zoom out and I get these notes where I'm like, okay, I'm interested in this, interested in this. If I see a gold chart, for example, I'm not super interested in participating in that right now. I need to see this develop. So it's like the monthly charts give me the theme, and then, the trade ideas and zooming in gives me the actual setups. And I'll weight those setups depending on whether or not they meet my theme.
Yeah, important point. I think for everyone to understand, it's more of a higher level, broader perspective. More importantly, is that the haptic pencil on your iPad?
Not yet. I love these things to death, but yeah, they say, hey, you need a new case and you need a new pencil, and when you get your new iPad, you got to throw everything else out. They're going to have to do a lot to get me to do that.
I thought we were going to get a Michael Noss review. That's okay. Next time.
Maybe I'll do an unboxing or something.
We should. On air. We should. Great stuff. Thank you, sir. We'll speak again later on today.
I'll talk to you tonight.
Thanks as always, Michael. And that's, that mentality thing when you're talking about the monthly charts. Like, it's important because anybody you can always zoom in, zoom out, get an idea of what you're looking at, but you also have to get in the right mindset. Hey, if I'm looking at a monthly chart and a setup on a monthly chart, well, maybe I shouldn't be spooked out of something that happens intraday. Like, you should have a longer time frame set of rules. And like, it can be as simple as like what Michael said about gold, just not that interested in buying it when you see something on the longer term. Now, someone might conversely, you could look at a daily chart of GLD, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You could look at a daily chart of GLD and say, but look at it bounce off the 50 period in an upward trend, higher lows. Like, why wouldn't you look for this little bounce and then bounce off 215 in here, and then suddenly you've held that 50 period, you've got a support level down there? Well, that's kind of day trading. That's that shorter time frame mentality where you might look at something like that. So you've got to make sure you stay in your own lane. I think that's fantastic. We didn't really ask him about the memes, but I know knowing Michael's style, he's staying away from the GameStop, because if you're a swing trader and he's on pure technicals, then maybe the memes aren't always going to be for you. simply based on where they move. You know, stick with the ETFs, stick with your GLDs of the world, your XLEs, which I think is absolutely fine. There's more than one way to make money. I almost said skin a cat, but you know, we keep it real around here.
Yeah. I think there's
Cats.
there's always two ways to look at this GameStop. Yeah, Michael's has not liked GameStop or AMC for a very, very long time. So, but yeah, no, good. Good look at the monthly. I mean, it's important to have them on, obviously, on the first of the month. We also look at weekly candles and things like that. And it's just about trading this kind of style that you do. And here, us trading some of these names here today. Here goes GameStop trying to make moves lower now, breaking through 40 again. It's not like this hasn't happened throughout that whole interview. It was going back and forth through 39, 39.50, 40, 40, 50. There was $1 a couple times here, right? Like that's 40.50 right there. That's 39. I guess 39.70, I guess. So there's 50 or 60 cents, I guess, pretty much 10 times. I don't know. Back and forth here. I just laugh because it's been a pretty easy trade. It's just you're waiting for a bigger move. So it's just like I'm not getting out. You know, when we got some more shares into here, we could have got it out at 41.50. We bought it twice down here at 40, so that was $1.50. Normally we take that, then we reloaded here at 40.34, and then it gets all the way to 40.70. I wasn't thinking about unloading it, but that's been the top, this 50-period moving average. So here we go back down into the downside right now for GameStop. Let's just check out what AMC is doing.
I was about to say nothing.
Yeah, but AMC's not really supposed to do anything. No. You know what? Technically, GameStop's not doing anything either. I mean, it's not.
But 10 cents range.
I mean, 10-cent range, yeah. I mean, hold on a second. Just thinking about GameStop's range is what, $2 or something? Like, this is what has all the news. This is $42 down to $39 right now. And that was one move. And since as we said, $7.50, this stock is stuck in a $1.30 range. Yeah. So, I mean...
Well, this is actually why I'm sitting in BlackBerry short. It's part of the reason, too. Like, the news is specifically, I mean, highly specific to GameStop here, and everything else is kind of being dragged up. So I have been, like, I've been basically short scalping the first initial move down on BlackBerry, or on GME, off that high. It got back under 3 BlackBerry, and I just shorted the first pop. It came into 95. I've been scalping it, 94, 95 has some size in here, and just getting some out and holding. And if GameStop falls apart, then why wouldn't this be back at 280 or something? And if we do break out higher, I can have a nice little tight stop in here. I'll probably, as we get closer to the open, if GameStop's already breaking out, I can just tighten this one up as we like it. But yeah, like it is GameStop news. I think there's going to be some fireworks at the open, but the last time I was convinced of a halt on GameStop at the open, I remember spending 5-10 minutes in that opening range, staring at it for nothing to happen. So I want to make sure that we got a few other ideas out there. Obviously, the chips are going to be in play. I think we all know that.
We have Best Buy here kicking off the upgrades and downgrades list, getting this upgrade from Citigroup. Broadcom up about 1.5% with this upgrade from Milius. Keep an eye on AVGO. It reports next week. We also have Kimberly-Clark here with this upgrade from RBC Capital Markets. And last but not least, on the upgrade side of things, Piper Sandler upgrading Massimo. So nice look here. For downgrades, we have Cava kicking off the list, getting this downgrade from JP Morgan Chase after its earnings last week. BMO getting a downgrade from Keefe Bruyette. Caribou Biosciences downgraded here by Evercore ISI, and another biosciences related name. Jefferies Financial downgrading Illumina to end this list here today, guys.
Like after earnings, that did one of the best reversals I've seen in a long time. Was down 10 points and then ended the day just ramp job up double digits when it was all said and done. Made another fresh high the last day, and then a little bit of a pullback the last couple of days to end the week. Still holding some previous resistance into support. On a downgrade, it's okay, fine. I guess the initial reaction was negative. So it does make some sense that you could see some analysts coming in with downgrades. But if it holds essentially that earnings day close, that was right here at about 88. It broke out the next day at 88. That's about the only level you got on Cava. So I don't know. That looks like a pretty decent one for me. It's one of the better looking charts on a daily that you're going to find. I mean, there's a lot of great looking charts, but that reversal was a wow moment. It's not a lot of volume on Cava. I think that's why a lot of people might not have been paying attention to it enough on those earnings, but that 88 holds today. That is the close price on that reversal day on those earnings for Cava. That would be a pretty bullish sign to me.
Yeah, I like that. The Canadian banks continue to be in trouble as well. We talked about, you know, the difference between someone investing in a Royal Bank right now, which is the largest bank here in Canada. That's been an absolute monster, straight to the upside here. Well, I'm to find out what's going on with that. I know they sponsored the RBC Open, which was just in Canada. That's Hamilton this past weekend. There it is. Look at this gapping higher right here. And then we got Bank of Montreal, which we just talked about, being downgraded. Look at the opportunity maybe. And again, needs to be more work done here because Canada is going to be, if this ever loads up, cutting rates. And they'll be cutting rates, I think it's this week. I think it's either this week or next week. Bank of Canada, I believe, will be the first one to go. And I think we'll have to check it out. I don't even know if there's a BOC rate tool or anything like that, but right there down to 87. So Bank of Montreal failing. We've talked about TD Bank. We've talked about all these different banks here in Canada continue to go lower, but with the rate environment changing, I wonder if there is going to be an opportunity here. So, I mean, look, TD Bank just back in January 1st was $65 down to $55 and just bounced off some nice levels. So this is what I'm getting at. There are some good buying opportunities here. So at some point you'd sort of chase yield with these names, but Bank of Montreal today downgraded. I think it's almost time to start to buy some of these Canadian banks with a little bit of an investigation as to why there's such disparity between them. Bitcoin's back to 69.6 right now. Ethereum 38.
Strong.
Right here. So there's a lot of, it's Wednesday is decision day. So yeah, so then I believe then that they will cut rates here in Canada. So
Got to.
all right, let's go back over the desk.
Yeah, after that GDP print last week especially, it's about time. So we get Bank of Canada Wednesday 10 a.m. ECB is then Thursday morning. They're also expected to cut very, very early on Thursday morning. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern. And then Monday, the 10th, is CPI. Tuesday is the Fed. So a lot coming here over the next few days. We were going to mention real quick here, there are notable IPOs coming up this week. Notable in the sense of the size. I lost my page here. Both about $1 billion. NVL is one of them. Novellus. And then Waystar Holdings, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, on that Succession show.
No.
Is the name of the actual company, Waystar Holdings, that is on that Succession show. But anyways, so WAY and then NVL, Thursday, Friday this week, they're both about $1 billion in notional.
Yeah, not on North American markets, Brendo, but Shein may file for listing on the London Stock Exchange as soon as next week. Widely anticipated that they were going to launch in North America, but that's been put on hold for some time. So you want to trade Shein, you're going to have to go on the LSE.
Just seeing, well, that was about 20 minutes ago, Elon Musk layout could spend as much as NVIDIA chips. So yeah, Elon Musk just saying, apparently he's planning or willing to spend as much as NVIDIA on chips that they are developing as well. Tesla has been noted to do such a thing, but also came out a couple months ago saying they were going to develop their own chips. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you watch Succession? I can't remember.
So I actually have seen 1.5 episodes of Succession while I was on a flight, and then it was like I watched the entire episode and then realized I was watching episode 1 of season 3.
Okay.
And I was like, oh crap, this doesn't make any sense. And I kind of watched part of the next one, and then I was like, what am I doing here? At some point I should just start it. This looks really cool. And then I just never did. I have no time for a lot of shows that I would love to watch. It looks really good. The episode I watched was absolute fire, but you shouldn't start at season 3. That's kind of nonsensical. But have you watched that show?
No.
Okay, yeah. It seems cool.
All right, back to the desk.
I think you'd be into it. But one thing before we go back, GameStop
This is
here.
a joke. Yeah.
There's not that much.
Talk about
time
whatever you
today.
want. Yeah.
GameStop. I had my stop underneath the 39 level. It wicked it. Now, I've been in and out of this multiple times. I dip bought here first time at 41. These are dark pool wicks in here, so this never actually broke 39 this time. It was in an upward trend. It bounced off that level. We had the dip buy. It then broke out the support. I waited for it to wick the bottom, then got in again. Was long into the bottom. It broke, then jumped right back in. So I'm going to take pot shots at this. I'm not losing whole days or anything before the market opens up. I'm going to try to be scalping it and then look for a place to be adding after the market is opened up. Because if we do go ham or into some kind of a break, the big levels are all the way at like $53. There is some support in theory at 36. That was a key level before, but it's got so much room before it runs into like a real bag hold spot that I want to take those shots. But at the open, looking for places to add on strength, and we'll always have my stop at the low just in case it goes gap hunting underneath.
And I think we should. It's as Neil was saying, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 traders traded GME so far, all red. So it's not been very exciting so far. I think you're gonna have to either try to hold it, or, like Neil said, take pot shots again. But it hasn't been a huge morning for this yet. So wait for it. 20 million shares already done. I mean, if you're trading it now, maybe decide to hold, maybe decide to punch out. My level is this bottom break of 38.30 or 38.50. So we're going to use 38.50 as our out. But there it is right there, 1.22 million shares to buy off the open. But remember, a lot of these moves sometimes can happen in the pre-market and then it gets sold off once this buy is completed. So we'll have to watch out to see for that one. Definitely a halt candidate today, up 70+% is GameStop. We're holding it for a 38.50 break. So that would be about $2 worth of a hit. I mean, we're long at 40. The high so far has been 42, where I think we can break it. So in a little bit too early, it's 9 o'clock, but I'm sure we'll be going over GameStop very soon again as well. So yeah, so far not a great name around here, but as we said, the day is early, and here we go, right back to flat on the name again, just by holding it. So I don't know. I don't have any outs. I don't have any offers. Let's just see, and there it drops $1. So I'm just gonna wait. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. If it rips up, it rips up. For right now, it's 9 o'clock, and it's gonna be a very, very busy GameStop day. And by the way, they're basically free to borrow here at Real Trading.
Oh, yeah.
So you can trade, here it goes, it's breaking right now through $39. So here goes GameStop. Like I said, we're the last man standing here trying to hold some shares, and it's not working out so far. But there's a nice little dip into 39. 38.50, we'll punch out, and then we'll wait our turn maybe until open, or if we see something else, possible news. Because the thing about this is, actually, let's just go to the desk, because we are going to talk about it on the rundown.
Yeah, we'll get into it here. 0.5% still for the NASDAQ, S&P lagging a little bit here, but let's get a look at the market to kick things off.
Yeah, the ES up a quarter point right now, Brendo. 52.95 is where we close out on Friday, just 5 points below that 100-point level at 5,300, which is what we're going to use as support today. If we hold above 5,300 at the open, look for it as a level of support. To resistance side, if we really get going here, we'll look to the crest that we put in on the 28th, 53.37 resistance.
All right, make sure you grab the watch list every single day. We send it out right to your inbox for free. If you haven't done so, go to the website, wait for the pop-up, and then enter your email. We're revising it a little bit, adding more info, adding more value every single day, so that's free for you. Yeah, let's go. GME, top of the list, rightfully so, was 87% at one point this morning, definitely not anymore. But yeah, Roaring Kitty back on Reddit over the weekend. Doesn't take much.
Nope. Roaring Kitty, otherwise known as Keith Gill, disclosing a $116 million position in GameStop to the tune of about 5 million shares. We'll have to see how this all does here. But yeah, coming out overnight, and GameStop up over 70%.
Yeah, as you guys said, trying to hold on to that 39 area, which was a little bit of support, 39, 38 early on this morning.
As we mentioned earlier about this, so far, hasn't been a very successful trade yet today. But it can still, I mean, this is what you're waiting for, right? I mean, you want the volume. We just talked about this 2 minutes ago. It was 17 million. Now it's 20 million. You're starting to pick up a little bit here into GME. I put this on our trade of the week last week. So we put a, Brendan asked me on Thursday or Friday, or I think he asked me on Wednesday, but I didn't give it to him until Friday. What trade did I like this week? And I just said, because, hey, GameStop. I mean, long down here, we've already seen it break this level and rip. So you had a really good risk to reward. And we had talked about this, long down here at $20, $18. I feel like it was well worth it. Obviously, none of us knew that there was 120 million 120,000 call options Roaring Kitty's going to hold, and one, however many shares he has, 5 million shares, something like that, crazy, ridiculous on whatever he has. But this is the thing. Now that, okay, now we're finally starting to go, so maybe we get back above 40 and hold it. At the end of the day, whoever's long this name has to sell. So that's the other thing. I don't know when the sell's coming. Again, we didn't know when the buy was coming. You don't know when the sell is coming. So all you have to really do is try to be prepared with stop orders. I mean, I'm here to trade it. You can see we're still in it. We bought it twice here at 40 bucks. That's my average prices right now. I think it's worth it. We're going to give this about $2 worth of a stop in order to make a hell of a lot more than that. So hey, ride or die. I'm doing it with GameStop right here. It's a pretty simple trade. And I'm obviously not afraid to stand in this way. So the only other name that I wrote down here, and I'm going to get this out immediately, is AMC. The fact is that when GameStop halts or AMC halts, you want to look at the other one as well. So I just think that there's going to be a game there where it's AMC versus GME. One halts, one doesn't. Go over to the other, go over to the other. So we'll play a little hopscotch with both of these names today. But obviously much more focus here on the biggest and the baddest of them all. It's Mr. Roaring Kitty. Congratulations on being a billionaire.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's not complaining, no question about it. I heard a lot of people like, oh, where do you get the cash from? Well, ultimately it doesn't matter. It's like last time it was essentially just a tweet with a picture. So like ask yourself, like, what do you really need in this situation? Like try not to explain it too much or you'll get all in your head, I think. And that's going to be a bit of a problem if you start overthinking something like this. So I mentioned that 36 kind of is, I don't want to call it any kind of a big level. You just happen to close there one day and make a high the next day. So like twice it's been a high, and then it's also been a dip, and then it's also been a key close price. So you have 4 different times that kind of came in. So if this were to break down, the reason I want to scalp this level is because I feel like 35, 36, that area is more of a big time bounce spot just based on looking at the chart. What would be interesting is if it were to halt down, it's in the 40s right now. If it were to open and halt down, it would be basically likely testing that 35, 36. So there is a chance of like a halt down trade, halts down at the open and then recovers immediately. That would be interesting, and I'd like to be long off of that as well. If you're not breaking out 42, I want to be scalping inside the 42 level. I think there's room to 52, 53 on this. And as Sean mentioned, you got to look at the others when they halt. If there is a halt down and there's like scalp trade on BlackBerry, which I happen to be short, or AMC, I don't mind that. Like if you have resistance at 550, all pre-market on AMC, let's say GameStop halts down at the open, well maybe you can quickly grab short. We paid for shorts for 1/8 of 1 cent. Maybe you can punch short, give it a couple cents worth of risk, and just scalp some out during that halt trade if there's some sympathy to be had. I'd like to see it do that relationship once. I know it worked before on BlackBerry, on AMC. I think it's been a little bit less obvious when it comes to following during those halts.
All right, let's go on to semiconductor land. Nicely positive here, 3.5% right now for NVIDIA, AMD. Looking very similar here in the pre-market, up 1.8, so lagging a little bit. But yeah, AMD launching a brand new AI-specific chip to take on 2.7 trillion worth of an NVIDIA empire.
So there's a huge conference going on right now called Computex. It's taking place in Taipei in Taiwan. You've got the likes of Jensen there, Lisa Su in her blue jacket are there as well. And there's major announcements coming. So we knew that Blackwell was going to be the latest version of the GPU to take over the H100 for NVIDIA. But that's not the only one. There's going to be another one. So the cycle now between GPUs is really tightened up here. It's down from 2 years to 1 year, and this one less than 1 year. AMD not to be outdone as well. They also reported their new processors, the MI325X, coming out later this year, and they also announced ones for 2025 and 2026.
I'm just seeing Snowflake pop up here. Snowflake unveils Polaris catalog and emphasizes commitment to more cloud-based stuff for SNOW. Guys, just popping up in front of me as well.
Let it snow. But look, NVIDIA.
Snowflake?
Well, if you look at those chips, man, like it was a bit of an everything rally at the end of the day, but there was a difference between AMD and NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA did a nice rally off the bottom. AMD, as I'll show you in a second, was just entirely different. But the gap up today, you got more strength in NVIDIA. I guess more belief in their new chip and that cycle going from 2 years to 1 year. Obviously, that's going to be good for them to be able to stay ahead. Like if they're updating faster, then how are you supposed to catch up if they're basically accelerating the pace at which they're able to pump out these chips. We've rejected 1150 a couple times. My thesis on Friday was looking short when it failed that breakout. We did grab it and got out too early. If we get to 1150 and can't get through 1160 again, I think that's like a fail break reverse short, just given how strong it's been. If this sucker takes out 1160, I don't think you want to be fighting it. But until that happens, up here in the 50s has been a short zone. I seriously doubt we get a chance at 1100. If we do, that's a bounce spot for me. I think that's probably a bounce spot for a lot of people, given where you close. But AMD was just insane. Like, I showed you the NVIDIA chart. AMD was just wild in terms of how much it broke to the upside, getting almost back to that opening resistance level, and now we're gapping above it. So that feels, in some ways, even more bullish. And so I marked off the peak of that move, which was 167. I think just look for dips into that range. I think you've got some long opportunities, maybe a 171 break, though I prefer a dip buy given the way this sucker is traded. So AMD was wild. If you were trading it on Friday in the afternoon to that long side, I think it provided you with a better level, just given where it closed. Like right at that 67 gives you a nice dip buy.
All right. Yeah, we wrote down here for AMD that we were just going to buy the 168. So hopefully we'll be able to buy that. That's where we closed on Friday, 167. If we can get a 168, I like that level. I mean, just breaking out from the 20-minute chart here. Yeah. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a wild one, so I don't think it's something that you sit in and around, but if we could start to develop a bottom somewhere, I mean, it's just like sitting here and saying, oh, I like 160. Well, I mean, that very bottom's 158.50 or something. So it's like you gotta, if you like this area, you have to be willing to sit into it for a little bit. So I think I like this area, 167 to 168, 200 period, 50 period, a lot of support up here. As long as the story continues to work, which it definitely did on Friday, then I think AMD and NVIDIA are both, need to buy. I mean, now you're all the way back to 1131 anyways, but need to buy here. Any dip buy opportunities in both NVIDIA and AMD need to be purchased. I also think SMH down here as well. It's not down here anymore, but if we can get to some of those levels for the semis, we always talk about SOXL and different names like that, but if for somehow we can even get back to 240 right here, which is the close on Friday, I think that's probably worth looking at something. But with NVIDIA up 3%, AMD up this 1.8% as well, I feel like it's gonna have to hold out for obviously dip buy opportunities. I'm going to be looking at AMD first. And then there's, the hot name is NVDL. Like there's a lot of traders that like to look at this because it's only a $60 name. So you could definitely grab it. But again, it's double the move, which doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're just looking at levels, it's like the TQs, right? It doesn't matter that it's triple levered. You're still punching out where you're punching out or getting in when you're getting in. So these levels as well, $60, looking for dip buys, 59, 57. Again, where we close. So if you're going to give back everything on NVIDIA, then you'd look for a 57 bid, but I'd rather take SMH than you sort of get them all wrapped up into one. So yeah, NVIDIA and AMD definitely on pretty much every trader's mind today. You just got to make sure that you're watching it. And big shout out to Donnie Zimbabwe there. Wants more likes on the chat. Wants more subs.
Donnie.
Is going to be dropping in there. He super chatted. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls for letting me know. He super chatted the $10. Donnie Zimbabwe. He's talking about the podcast. He's talking about how well he's been doing this year. So congratulations to you, Mr. Zimbabwe. And we look forward to some of those memberships. I want to make sure that everybody hits the like, the subscribe, hit that bell icon, make sure you get all the notifications. Do it for this stream, do it for all the streams. Go to our social medias, pay attention. Sticky notes now out.
All right, let's go on to Chinese EVs. I mean, this is always a notable day, the first of the month. Every month we get these delivery numbers for all of these. I mean, a little bit more positive maybe this morning specifically for Li Auto than the rest. Nice gap here, up more than 4%. You look at an NIO, you look at an XPEV, XPEV, not SPEV. Their next model maybe is SPEV, we'll see. NIO deliveries though 20,544, up a staggering 233% year over year. That's not bad, but it's not really doing anything. I mean, so much else to look at today.
Oh, absolutely, especially with GME and AMC and all these memes moving. Maybe these ones take a back seat, but if you're interested in this kind of thing, BYD sold about 300,000 cars, the number one obviously there in China. NIO and Li Auto both had record months, so big growth there. China did announce another $1.5 billion US EV subsidy. It's gonna, allow, create a bit of a buffer for those looking to buy about 1,400 yuan off each vehicle.
I was noticing, you and I were talking about this as well. If you zoom out on most of these charts, that's NIO on a weekly. So we're getting back into significant levels here. You got to go all the way back to 2020 for NIO. XPEV, same story, double bottom potentially on a weekly chart here down for XPEV. Li Auto, same story, big time support coming into play for all of these.
Yeah, the Li Auto support's the interesting one, at least for myself, because there was I'm sure Refrain and I were talking about this last week. Well, actually, a week and a half ago. So for the last couple of weeks. The daily chart here has had this nice, first when it was holding the 200 period moving average, you can see on the way up, like right here, 31 holds, you get a bounce higher. When we make a lower high off of that, so there's your bounce off a big major moving average, you make the lower high, and then same bottom. Once that bounced a second time and doesn't make a fresh high, it's like, well, we'll stick a trend line in there and see what happens. Well, what happened is when we got to the bottom, it tried to break and is now holding above that trend line, sitting above 20 bucks. So this looks pretty solid for a long off 20. In addition to that, if it breaks the range here, you got like a 21.40 breakout long. So I like Li in front of 20 this week. You dip down into that level and don't make fresh lows, then I'm looking bounces off the $20 level, specifically on Li Auto. It just has that level of confluence, and if they're all gonna go up, sometimes you just like the one on the chart that suits you best. I was looking at NIO. The problem with NIO for me is I think the similar trade would have been last week on NIO. I think if I was looking very similarly, okay, well, you'd be long already off of 480, bouncing higher lows off that 50 period, or maybe when it broke out here at 505. Now it's just like you're long it in the middle of the range, where Li Auto is kind of just going. If it holds 20, it's starting the move. Well, you missed the first leg here on NIO. And unless it pulls back into $5, I would just prefer to trade Li Auto off of those levels. It's not to say that there's only one way to approach these things, but you've got to find something that works essentially for you, or the level that you like, or the trade setup that you like. The market's going to provide you with a million opportunities out there. So, NIO, I think, is already kind of gone, but Li Auto off that $20 level today, I'll be involved in. I'm just going to get on what's interesting is GME's bouncing a little bit. And I just kind of see this floating down on BlackBerry, and I just realized I have two orders at the same price instead of one at 89 and one at 87. So I'm just going to pop on the bid here. This is floating down, essentially gapping up, obviously, BlackBerry because GameStop went up, and for no other reason whatsoever. So I've just been sitting in short in front of every single resistance level that I found. First it was one at 96, now there's one at 95. So we're short at 94, creatively enough. Yeah, but if I trade one of those Chinese EVs, it's going to be Li Auto at 20, or probably none of them.
All right, I haven't looked at Chinese EVs in a minute. The one name, of course, I'm even not sure if we just covered this or not, but Alibaba at 80 bucks. I mean, this has been a short for a minute for me. It's only been there for 2 days, so I don't know if it's going to be underneath or not today, but 78.80, it's close enough to that $80. I'm almost thinking, like, if we can hold out, this has been getting hit real bad over the last 2 weeks, from 90 down to 78. That's not great. Like, that's 10, 12% to the downside right here, but it's trying to hold the 50 period moving average. So it's just a tale of two stories. Like, if we can get a 76.50, that would also be great. So I'm going to look at Alibaba trading in and out of a zone here today. So if we can dump down and we get a little bit of this Chinese sort of love-hate relationship today, like sometimes you get good news and the stocks tank, and bad news and they kind of buy them back up because the story's not completely the truth. So we'll hear 0.59, same as the market here today. I like Alibaba on weakness, and we've definitely gotten that over the last couple of weeks. So I think you buy it into this area. We've supported this $75 level for about a month, actually exactly a month. So remember when Amazon broke? We don't have Amazon coming up soon, do we? No, we don't. GME is going lower right here. Kiss of death over here. But, we see Amazon breaking. If we talked about the level that it was trying to break for the month, down into here, this 170, and we actually wound up holding that. We got that bottom wick there on Friday, holding this 170. So that's something to look for as well on a break lower. But we're at 176 and bouncing. It's just, there are some nice little levels there. Sorry, 170 is the ultimate level. It was that 174 bottom right there that held from April. So 174 on Amazon, not 170, and 76.50 on Alibaba if we get a dump down. And there it goes, man. I mean, the success rate of GameStop remains 0 right here as GameStop breaks through 38 and is going lower, lower, lower right now. So there goes GameStop. We'll have to wait to see what happens. Let me just check to see the imbalance right now on it. So still a decent buy. So GameStop right there flushes down through, still a decent buy. Could easily rally back from this. So again, with only 10 minutes left, thank you, Randy. With only 10 minutes left, we'll wait to see what happens here with GME as it just went back into, oh, I just almost said 0. Someone, what's up, Sean James? Can GME go to 0? No. It cannot, but it may.
Technically speaking,
it may,
stock can go to 0, but it.
Yeah, it has to. Lots of things have to happen.
Yeah, like a lot. There's like a laundry list of things that happen before a stock goes to 0. Of which, you know, like if there's like 15 steps that would have to happen, then GameStop would be on like 2 or something like that. But it could possibly happen. We talked about this with Silvergate. No, Silvergate.
Silvergate.
So the best example, there's been plenty of things that have gone to OTC and actually gone dump. Silvergate's the best example of something that like literally went to 0, and there was like a lot of steps before it got there.
All right, let's talk about Spotify here. Not anywhere near as much interest in this volume-wise. Anyways, 5% though, coming off the highs a little bit to the upside. Price hike across the board here, depending on the plan. Just the U.S., Ramin, don't worry.
It's Fabian.
Oh, it was Fabian. It's not that big anyways, but 5% for Spot.
Yeah, the individual plan, guy, is going to cost you another $1 a month from $10.99 to $11.99. It's okay, Ramin. The duo plan here is going to go from $14.99 to $16.99. The family plan gets the biggest bump here from $16.99 to $19.99. And it's really all about improving margins, Brendo, after relying on promotions for so long to drive growth.
You were just saying as well, we were talking about the audiobook feature now. You get 5 or so a month.
5 a month. I just downloaded one right now.
Yeah.
So
No, it's more. I mean, you get what you pay for, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably bad for Amazon because don't they own Audible? So there's
Like Audible.
Exactly, but it's going to be squashed now. Yeah. So I have Apple Music. It's all wrapped into one, so we don't have to worry about any sort of an increase until Apple does. But right now, Spotify, I mean, it continues to work. I talked about selling this thing at 308, I think it was, and now it's even higher than that. So again, just stay with stocks that continue to win. And I mean, on the daily chart here again, people love it. It's just one of those things again where you can up the price of Spotify $5 a month. It's not going to change anybody's opinion. Everything to consumption is huge. Anything that people like, they will continue to buy it. So Spotify continues to work. Look at it just with this 50-period moving average. If you just trade it off of that, then you're long from September of 2023 only at 152. So you've got to double if you just follow the 50-period moving average, and it's going to continue to hold it here today. So, I mean, 290, we're nowhere near that 311. That daily high break is 315. So what are we at right now? 311, up 5%. It's going to take out 315 today. So congratulations, anybody on Spotify. Whatever, yeah, that high is 319, I guess, right there. But it's going to take this 315 out, and we're going to go higher on Spotify today. So huge move up. I mean, this name has really worked. I bought this at 150 or 125 when it had its direct listing. It was one of the first, I think it might have been the first direct listing I ever bought, this and then Palantir. So Spotify's really worked. We got a double on it or more, but it's a pretty violent name when it gets going. So I like it, possibly a trade through 315. If you like that trade, I like the break long.
Yeah, I want to see how it reacts to this. This high up here, because when you look at it at the weekly chart, it's like, oh my goodness, you can be patient with the breakout on Spotify, because the last couple times up here, you can see like the rejections, but it is just absolutely careening into this level. And the second time through, sometimes you just let it close above. So I have 319. 319 is the actual high, but as Sean mentioned, 315 is where the resistance is. So there is kind of a scalp trade in there for you. I would like to see it hold it instead of break it, meaning I want to see buyers above 315 after an open into that 52-week high, as opposed to taking a break. And that's because the volume is so low. With volume low, I'd rather see some confirmation after you open up that there would be buyers willing and able to hold this above a 315 level before I would get involved. I don't think I want to go dip buy hunting here. I feel like if the market comes down, look, if we're falling back down in the market, I have a pretty decent idea that we're going to have some chip names in the long side. So probably not going to be involved in any dip buys on spot. It would have to break that top and start trending above.
Brought to you by American Airs, trading in the U.S. Under the symbol AAIRF, in Canada under the symbol WIFI. This company just announced a knockout punch, a global marketing partnership with the UFC. Airs Tech is dedicated to bridging the gap between technology and wellness. Airs Tech's mission is to provide cutting-edge solutions that protect against electromagnetic radiation without disrupting everyday use of technology. This innovative company has seen consistent revenue growth and boasts several high-profile customers like Russell Brand and top UFC athletes. OTCQB AAIRF on the CSE here in Toronto, WIFI. Let's wrap things up here with Tesla. Nothing significant. Again, beginning of the month, at some point we'll get Tesla deliveries for last month as well. This daily chart, however, we got back above significant levels if you zoom out a little bit, going back to April, and getting quite tight here on this consolidation for Tesla.
So no real headline, as you mentioned, but over the weekend, there were elections in India. The incumbent Prime Minister Modi won another term. So what I'll be looking for here is, now that he's secured his term, do we hear now more announcements about the expansion of manufacturing in India? We know that Tesla stands to benefit from that, having had discussions with Prime Minister Modi in the past, specifically in New York. Also, Apple will be on watch for that as well. That's really my look.
Yeah, back to basically where we ended the day yesterday, or on Friday, guys. 178 holding here for Tesla.
Yep. And the other thing it did on Friday is bounce off 173 again, or at least that area. So I don't think too much has changed for key levels on Tesla. The 50 period on the daily has been hugged and gently bouncing above it now. So it hugged it and then broke above. Maybe we see 172, that's actually where it is. But if you look at the 15-minute, look at all the dips last week, that's 73, 73, then 74 on Friday, and a couple times off of that. So I think if we get dipped down, it's kind of a no-brainer to take a shot down there. If we see 73, 74, that's got to be a bit of a level. I just did not get that scalp out on AMC. GameStop came out at 1.5. Let me just switch for a quick second, because GameStop came out at 1.5 million buy. It's now 500,000 and heading higher. So there was a buy and bounce on both that and AMC. AMC is also 500,000. But Tesla, I like those 73, 74s for dip buys. If we're breaking out 180, it's got to take out 180 and a half, because that's been resistance on Tesla for a while.
Yeah, look, I have it written down here right now. And by the way, we're back into GameStop, of course, as you guys can see. All right, so I had written down here Tesla on the sticky note today. You guys can go find it out. I like the 174 level again. I don't think we get down to there. This is the one that was the headbanger from Friday, because we came back after lunch. It was like, what? This thing actually touched 174. I mean, I really like these levels down there. But I think on good news, you're breaking through 180 now again. So this is another spot that we're looking for. So I actually wrote down here on the sticky note that we had a 180 and a, whoopsies, oh, there's Ethereum, whoopsies, there's both gone. That we had a 180 and a 174 level that we wanted to look at. Hey, what's going on, my guy? Right there, but there it is right there. Support at 174, also break at 180. We're watching GME, Halt, and AMC in pair. So there it goes right there. We like Tesla coming through today. Not really any crazy stories that it's like this is the catalyst that we must trade. But again, a nice downside move there for TSLA. Should get that party started. So we basically, again, we do this once a day at least, and we did it right away in the pre-market. There's the bottom for me made on GameStop, but got right back in, and now, again, you're just right back to where you need to be. Take a $1.50 hit. Get that $1.50 right back now, almost. We're only in the money $1.30. So we'll see if this can just continue to go back up to the upside a little bit here for GameStop straight off the open. This should be a wild one. I do want to punch longer off open, off a halt. So right now we are $1.30, $1.50, hopefully, and the money keeps going as it's changing. $40, $50, $60. Where are we going to stop here on GameStop? The high of the pre-market has been 42-ish. So we'll wait to see there, of course, before the very earliest. But, you know, since 7 o'clock, 42-ish, that would be a good little level for me to get out on. But I'm not. we're going to wait to see for a halt and see if we can get this thing into the 50s.
Yeah, I've been scalping into the 41 level, but if it breaks 42, I think you hold into a halt up. I like the halt up if we get it. And if you don't, then there's always maybe take a look at AMC. If we get a halt to the upside, you might get a nice little move in there as well. Are we going to the desk before we open, or to Sharif?
About short squeezes all week. It was not planned that GME and AMC were moving, so make sure to catch that with Didera and I today on How to Trade at 11.
It's a meme day, it's a Monday, and let's get this party started. Adair is on the bell. Could get a halt off the open, you never really know, so we'll see what happens in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. Party is started. So right now, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we opened up. Nope, no opening print just yet. So I haven't actually seen an opening print on GME. If we make a fresh low, I'm going to jump out of it. AMC not doing a heck of a lot either. I do have AMD up, and it's not making a huge move. There was a bounce higher right before the open on NVIDIA. That's pulling back a little bit as well. So NVIDIA nowhere near 1150, no trade for me. GameStop's holding the 39 high to 40 level, at least off the open. If it makes a fresh low, you could go into potential down halt. I have my eyeballs on BlackBerry just in case that were to happen. While that's calming itself down, because no 930 halt, NVIDIA, bit of a pullback. It wicked the top and now starting to pull back in. 1125's been good, 11's been good as well. So we'll have eyeballs on them. Focus is on the chips and those memes, at least for now.
Yeah, AMD is starting, so I'm just holding on to GameStop. I mean, we'll hopefully be able to watch it. It was just at $40, now it's at $39. It is really ramping around right now, 168, 168.50. So here we go. GameStop is now halting to the downside. So if you want to get out, this is a good opportunity to do that. We are going to get stopped out, I guess, on the halt down as we try to get our shares out and try to get more shares short, but we cannot do that. So I would have loved to got into the short there, but we just got halted to the downside on GME. So yeah, instantly. I don't know why.
I tried to reverse, but I couldn't.
That shouldn't have halted again, I don't think, but down to
weird.
$38 seems a bit strange, but there's GameStop now halted. So what you want to do is maybe go right over to AMC and see if there's any sort of sympathy to the halt there as well. But all right, we'll wait for GameStop. It's going to be yikes, and it's going to be elevator down there on GME. So like I said, I don't know, I could check, but it has not been a positive trade here today on GameStop, but AMC looking like it wants to battle back upside right now. So we'll wait.
Yeah, I remember I said, like, you just go over to the first one you can. I didn't really see much. It's interesting, it went to a down halt. It was kind of a weird price to have halted it at. I didn't think it was going to go into a halt unless it got closer to 36. But what just happened? I'm still short. I'm out of GameStop. I'm still short in BlackBerry. I just took some out there at the 88 level, but I'm still holding this position. Right when it went into the halt, I got the first short I could get, which was right in here underneath VWAP. So while we're waiting around, we said we'd be in one, not the other, but you just got to take the out sometimes. Like I couldn't reverse. I was on the offer because I had take profits. It's going to look like I'm short, but I did not get a fill short on GameStop on that halt trade. Now AMD's starting to go down. That's a big rejection of the high on AMD. So 169 coming into play. Friday's close. The close price is 166.90. The top of that move was like 167.25. So if we get out there, we're going to look for a dip buy in that name. All
right, and in trade idea, I don't know, we have a bunch on here, but we're long Tesla now. So, I mean, it's starting to go. It's starting to go. I mean, this name already went. So we already took some 180s long. We're actually long at 179.95. So again, kind of broke, and then we got filled back on the downside of that. And our best outs are just actually pretty good this time. We didn't really scalp it out so fast. My earliest out is 20s, and our best out, I think, is 20s, actually. There we go. We get a 45 now. Okay, now we're starting to go. Here goes the break, finally on Tesla. It is your sticky no break trade idea number one right now because it's the only one that's been filling. It's Tesla. It's long, and it's trying to get upside right now, so we really like that. Let's just check back on some of the other ideas as we just let Tesla go now. I mean, 182, I feel like we should probably put something out at 181. 40 or so. We'll put an offer there. But there it is right there, guys. It's going to be an early dollar club right there for Tesla. So let's just see if it can go back up to the upside. We just got a 180.80 there. So close enough. Let's see if we get going. It's Tesla, and it is fantastic. We just need GameStop to open up and chill out a bit. But there we go, 1 for 1 on our sticky notes here as Tesla now puts a dollar club right there. That's a good trade for us. Oh, man. So far, so good there. We'll look at Shopify. Don't tell me it broke 360.
Shop or Shopify?
Someone said shop in the chat.
Shopify it's really, really close.
Wow, what a trade.
59.94 is the high of the day on Shopify. It hasn't broken the $60 just yet. Very quickly, Rivian, this was on my list this week. $11 level, sort of an obvious one. That's where we closed before, looking for the stair step into the upside. This was mine in terms of trade of the week, holding that $10 level. I didn't know the memes would gap up that would take us up here, but it looks like this is trying to make the break above $11. Currently, the tap on GME is exactly flat, so there's no indication as to where it's going to open. That's a lack of information. It's not. I don't think it actually opens flat, but 38 flat is the price currently on GME. It should be open in about 1 minute. I just scalped more out of BlackBerry because because GameStop's not indicating a lower open. If it was opening lower, then I'd be holding. But because it's going to open flat, I'd rather just get some out on BlackBerry for profit.
All right. I mean, we're in one trade so far today. It's $1.50 in the money. All right, so we'll do that one. Patrick, you can clap, man. It doesn't really matter. All right, so there's a nice move to the upside right now for Tesla. So we like that one as it is. Sticky note, idea number 1 coming right there for Tesla, and there it goes. We just got to wait for GameStop to open up. So when it does, it does. But we just said about some 182s. We still have half of this trade on. So it's been a really good trade. Like, we're holding on to half. It's now $1.60, $1.70 in the money. And a kind of a big trade alert there for Tesla. So I like it. And let's just hold on and see where we go from there. TSLA. Another name we wanted to look at was Palantir coming through. So I wanted to look at this one back down in near 21. So we have that level written down here, 21, 21.20 coming through for these guys. But there's that bottom, 21.30.
Open 35.
Okay, so there goes GameStop. So nice downside move for GameStop into 35. How much lower do we go from here? Like I said, they got to sell these shares, right, at some point. Looks like GameStop wants to come back in a little bit. They're at 35 opening now. Looks like you're going to want to get the short on GME, everybody. Nice downside move there.
Oh, that was the level that I was going to take a shot at 35 level. So if it's going to hold here, and we talked about that on the daily, I just got my stop out underneath 35, and the first available bounce, I got 63. So if it breaks, we'll probably lose $1 on it, and it could halt. I was just trying, nope, and then there we go, we're out. That was quick. I tried to get more of BlackBerry and then could not get anything filled on the offer. So you're still going to the downside nasty. I just took 80 cents worth of a hit there, trying to take that long off of the 35 level. But you know what? Just keep it in the pocket. You know, we got out first time, broke the stop. We got out the second time, it broke the stop. If you're holding on to this, it's about to go into another downward halt. Oh, it just resisted. AMC, by the way, first time just halted into the downside on AMC. Halted at 495, so that made a big move into the downside. The entire time I was kind of head short, just tried to add to BlackBerry, couldn't do it, but we got hit on that bid. So sympathy plays are moving down. NVIDIA is about to take out the high of the day, so let's get quickly over there. You got 5 minutes for AMC. GameStop is not halted a second time, so it's still trying to catch itself a bid. Might need to have to calm this one down and wait till like it makes some kind of definitive bottom. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's just a higher low, maybe it's a halt up, but we're willing to get back into it. Like I said, gonna stop out and be willing to get back in a different price. I don't think we're gonna get this 1125 here on NVIDIA. Obviously, no, we're not gonna get 1100 either. NVIDIA headed for a bit of a top break. I'm not taking breakouts on this. It's had overhead resistance. I think you gotta look for dip buys on this stock.
All right, and I mean, this is why we say this all the time. You know, you have multiple trading ideas, and yeah, Tesla obviously working out huge, and GameStop, which we don't trade as many shares, but obviously a much more violent name there for GameStop, just goes up and down. We didn't do anything differently here. We got out of the halt, back and forth, just trying to hold out for $34. I think maybe a 35 break long or something, but it's got to break like a key level and start to go back up to the upside before you get really excited again about this. The market is, see, there it goes, like look at this, down to 33, just keeps on going lower and lower and lower right now for GameStop. So I was trying to wait to see if there was going to be a spot where you could eventually sit in here and buy it. But remember what we said, if this guy or anybody else is long a bunch of shares of GameStop, they're going to have, it's going to halt again, but I'm not going to take it. They're going to have to dump their shares. So there it goes. He resisted that halt. So if you don't dump your shares at this price, when are you dumping them? Like you've just, if he's been buying at 20, you got some out at 40 there, maybe in the pre-market, then maybe some on that reopen of the halt. So right now you do have a little bit of an opportunity to let this thing float around. What's up, Adara?
Microbot Medical to the upside here, up about 61%, receiving some FDA approval for a human clinical trial for its endovascular robotic surgery. So nice look here for MBOT, guys.
Good look there. Thank you very much, Adara. Li Auto's doing absolutely nothing off the open. Kind of thought we'd get that old patented Chinese ADR dip buy when these stocks gap up, but not really much of a move. Still like that $20 level, but you got to be patient waiting for it. NVIDIA's starting to pull back. AMD is pretty weak. Even as NVIDIA was breaking through highs, AMD still pulling in. Still like that 167. Got to wait for it to get to that previous close if we're going to look for that dip. Do want to be patient. Rivian as well. This is holding out VWAP. Thought we'd see like the $11 level. For now, it's putting in a higher low off of that pre-market top. If this is going to be the way, if it's just going to stair step it to the upside, I don't mind a look at this VWAP in here. It's already put in one lower high. GameStop is trying to bounce back through that 35 level. And AMC should be open in 2 minutes. If GameStop is breaking out, you probably won't be able to trade AMC because it'll probably just gap higher.
All right. Yeah, we're back into GameStop, and we're long at $34. We just let this thing go $1 into the money for us, didn't take anything out. So, I mean, what about back into this halt level of 38, I think, for GameStop? We have that 33 bottom, so this is where I think it's really worth holding it out to that one. And I remember we said 182 for Tesla, so let's go. I mean, this is going to be a big day here, hopefully for Tesla anyways. I don't know what's going to happen for GameStop, but there's a huge move for us. And again, if you are on looking for some trade ideas, this was the only one that's hit so far. We'd have to look at that AMD down there at 168. So we did write that down. We want to look at that. But GME, again, long off 38. We talked about getting out if that breaks the pre-market. We're back into that one. There's the Tesla break at 180. We definitely like that. AMD, Palantir, and then AMC, the next one's on watch for me. So let's just stay with what we're doing, man. I mean, there's Tesla. It's a big move. It is now $2. I mean, you know, despite, this is the other thing, despite getting hit, obviously on GameStop, today is still going to be a really good day so far because we got this Tesla trade. So this is what it's all about. Nice little hit there for Tesla, upside. All right, trying to break through 182. That's kind of the target. We've already taken some pieces out. We're still in a decent amount of these shares. So one more out here at 99s if we can get it. Maybe we got a little greedy there, but one more out here at 99, and then we'll go from there as down goes GameStop one more time, breaking through $32. So we did have $1 in the money, and then it broke, through 33, and then we got out. That was that level that just held last time. So GameStop, a complete disaster today.
No open on, oh, wait a minute. Why isn't AMC open? Okay, never mind. It doesn't really matter. I just got a dip buy into NVIDIA. We'll get to that in a second. I was expecting that to be open like 2 seconds ago. So NVIDIA, we said we'd look dip buy because I didn't want to take the break. AMC just opened now. It just bounced in front of the pre-market high. So 137.5. I grabbed it on the way up. I got a break through 39 at 39.21. The high is 42, so scalp to the high and then see where this one can go. But yeah, NVIDIA on a little bit of a dip. AMC did just open, but nothing crazy happening over in that name. I also got Rivian as that started to come back into VWAP. We do like Rivian. Higher lows being put in. If it gets to 1150, I'm definitely scalping some out. We're going to give this at least to 11 even here on RIVN. But yeah, the meme stock craze, I suppose, is trying to catch a bid. You got AMC back through $5.
Oh, wow.
There's a good part of me that's like, oh, take a shot at this thing through $5, but then GameStop is breaking lows. So I'm not going to do it. Usually, if we were breaking higher on GameStop, I'd be taking that break in sympathy 5 long, but not when you're headed downside on GameStop. GameStop's still going. And Apple making a big bounce to the top. I have 192 as support. Looks like we're not going to get a shot at that 192. We're going to be in the meme stocks. We knew that was going to be the case this morning, so missed an opportunity to dip buy on Apple. If we can get VWAP, we'll try that again.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we're just looking at the wrong stock again because AMD goes right into our 168 level and we didn't buy it. So hopefully we can get a dump back in there. It's at 170 right now. And we did get out another piece there we talked about, well, not another piece, but we got out of that first piece there at 180, 170 or 80. Let's see if we can get another one up at 182 as Tesla's falling back in just a little bit here as well. All right, Palantir did a dip down into 40. We were waiting for 20, so that did not hit yet for PLTR. I mean, we hear the call options popping off for Apple, so you could watch out for that one, GME. I mean, I didn't have too many other names here today that I was actually looking at. I'm really excited about this Tesla trade. And then GameStop, we're down on GameStop, obviously, as I mentioned to you, but bouncing off 32, that's been the only level so far that's held, and it's just been held twice. So we'll see if it holds one more time, as it looks like we're breaking through 32. Tesla leading the way today. What's up, Adara?
We're waiting here on these economic numbers. The S&P Global Manufacturing PMI final for the month of May. Previous 50 consensus and forecast here 50.9. Let's see if we got this number in 51.3. So that's going to be higher than the expectation of 50.9 and the previous number of 50. SPY not reacting too much. This is still within that range, but we did get that S&P Manufacturing PMI final for May 51.3, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. We got some more numbers coming at 10 o'clock as well, so be locked and loaded for that. Quick update on NVIDIA. It got to that spot, that 1142. We were taking higher lows. It held. We got 39s in front of 37.5. We were able to grab 2.5, but then it stopped out. Got to VWAP, and I was like, do I like VWAP in here? And elected not to take the dip buy off VWAP. I'm going to back off a little bit. If we're doing that dip at the open after a false break, we've seen what that's turned into in the past. I think you want to be a little bit patient with that. Maybe see some strength through the top on NVIDIA. Rivian's still holding for it. Obviously, as the meme stops are weak, then I can kind of hang on to BlackBerry, and every reason to believe that you could head back down to like 280 or something. As long as the memes are not really busting it out, then I don't see why this wouldn't just get back to all the way where it started from. Apple, we do like this trend up. The market is all green and headed for 1%, but cancel, we're not going to get 192. And if we do, you probably don't want it. Got to start looking for another level up. So whether it's VWAP or just play the trend, first available dip style, going to have to be the play on Apple. And I just noted something, so this was not on my list, but if the market's at fresh highs and the chip names are up and Intel is down 1%, then that's relative weakness. So this wasn't on my list before, but it's on the list now. We're short and pops in this name. I don't know why it's down 1%, other than my logic being they're falling further behind when everyone else is coming out with new chips, and they haven't. So we're going to short pops here.
All right. Yeah, AMD's still doing its thing. I think Apple dipping back into 193 would be really nice, but 193.50 might be where we have to start it. VWAP is 193.25, so any kind of a move down, we definitely like our chances in Apple, so we'll have to watch out for that one. Right now, what people are talking about, SMR halted, okay, so there we go again.
Oh, thank you.
I'll take another one, Randy, too, thank you. SMR, there it is, downside down to 13 cents. I mean, we've sort of mentioned this one, so we'll have to wait to see here what's going on with this name, SMR. All right, SoFi, not much going on here. Let's check out SoFi. I just wanted to see hitting some scanners.
Bitcoin broke.
$7. Yeah, Bitcoin right there at 70,000. So there we go on BTC. SoFi not doing a damn thing. But here we go, man. It is Tesla, and it is wonderful. It's going right back up to this upside again. Our number one trade of the day here is Tesla. It's going down or going up as GME is back down into $30. There's Tesla. It's put it on the board. It's your biggest winner. It's Tesla for me today. It's now $2 and change in the Monday. We all on the money. We all love Randy. What's up, Adara?
Nice look for Coherent here. This is a bioscience company. This one actually does have an $8.3 billion market cap, so this is not going to be a small cap here, but this one's up after naming a new CEO, Jim Anderson, effective today, also joining the company's board. So COHR to the upside, about 16%, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adair. Appreciate you there. Look, GameStop is now continuing, but no halts down after that initial one. So it's holding this $30 level. That's the last. If we break back above 32, I'm just going to punch some out of BlackBerry, but you're holding $5 as well on AMC. So I think if there's going to be a bottom on these names, you got to feel like it'll be one of these evens, like something psychological because you don't have big levels. AMC is holding $5. If that goes into an up halt on GameStop and punching long on AMC, if it's above the $5 level, we're going to try and grab that there. Still think we have a shot at Apple. This is the first time it's putting in a bit of a red candle through 194, so this could be the first available dip. If it gets back down to 93, 93.5, that'd be great. If it just dips into 94 and holds, then we'll try it off of 94. I do like the longs on AAPL, but I do not want to be rushing into this. Again, it would be a bad day, but we've been in the BlackBerry short, which obviously is like a bit of a hedge to some of those meme stock names. So you're still heading to the upside here. No up halt on GameStop to get into, but I'm going to be in an up halt if it does. So I want to be glued to it.
Yeah, let's hope GameStop uphalts here. We're long at 32. We'll see if it can get going again. It's going to fall back into this level. So here we go. Nice little move back through 33. We need a higher high here to halt. I mean, we were just at $31. Was unable to break that 30.80. Went into like a halt mode. Got blasted back up to the upside. So now we'll wait to see. It's done that a couple times. So we'll wait 34.50 looks like a great spot. So here it comes right back up to the upside now for GameStop. So hopefully you guys have some of that. We did want to get some Apple, but this has always been on my radar. It's gone. And just didn't give me an indication that we were going to go up 20 straight minutes, but that is what's happening right now with that name. DraftKings, I think, is hitting VWAP. It's showing up. Whoopsies. DKNG. Yeah, there it is. Is it hitting VWAP? Breaking. No, not really. Must be a day high scanner there. 35.50. As the market falls in right now, be careful. Here comes back Tesla now, coming back in after hitting 18.750. We almost got to that 18.8. So that's a pretty key level there as well. Market coming back in ahead of some numbers. So we'll have to watch to see what's happening with GameStop. We're getting a little greedy. I mean, it's breaking through 33. Now we're $1 in the money on GameStop. So let's just see if it continues a little bit higher than this. I still like that 34.50.
Yeah, that's that halt price. Well, it's that resistance level on that halt to the downside. I think that's going to be a key one. If it does make that break, I'm definitely jumping over because I think you can risk less than 10 cents on AMC if you get a breakout on GME. NVIDIA is starting to pull back in there again. We didn't take VWAP. For now, that's seeming like a decent decision, but look at it start to hold 11.30. I've been backing off to wait for like 11.25 or something on NVIDIA, but we just haven't had an in just yet. I'm going to double check to see what's going on. I wanted to short a pop in Intel. Oh, forget that. Intel is screaming to the downside. Okay, well, we're not going to get a pop there. AMD is getting close to the 167 level, so once we get down to 67, I'm just going to pop on the bid so I don't miss it. Do want to be involved on AMD down there. So still no break just yet that would get me long into AMC off that GameStop. But AMD, if it goes red, I'm going to be in the long, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm already in this long at 168, but it is breaking lower. We're only going to hold this for a couple more pennies, like 50-cent hits. We've sort of decided we're not just going to be layered in to AMD or to NVIDIA or anything like that. If it breaks levels, it breaks levels, because we didn't understand that move that was happening on Friday, but you didn't have to. It just got turned on and started going down upside. So the same way right now, here we go. If it breaks 70s, we're out. Right now on AMD, it'll be a hit, but it's a try. We tried it at 168. It looks like it's trying to fail a little bit. Let me get something out here at 99 if we can, which we just did. Take 10% off. We were 10 cents away from getting stopped out. So if we could take something out right now and save that 20 cents, we should try to do that. So here it comes back in now. AMD starting to crack lower as we watch out for NVIDIA. I mean, I know you're just talking about
it. It's 130 right now.
Yeah, it's 1130. Okay, so pulling back in. Yeah, this will be crazy when it trades dollars, like when it gets reversed. But for right now, 1133, we're looking at for NVIDIA. It is the day's low. So you're coming in right to these pre-market lows here of 130. So that's the level Neil's talking about. If you break that, watch out now. All right, and then we got Tesla on a little bit of a reload. But here goes AMD trying to get some back upside now. Let's take something out for flat. Oh, we just did, actually. No, we did not. 168.20. I thought we had something up there. All right, we'll see if it can go now. We'll sit here for flat. If we get it, we get it. But right now, AMD, oh, see that? Wow, nasty. AMD trying to battle back. Go. It just got back to flat and then failed on us again. But we've got a nice little reload here on Tesla. What's up, A?
This GPCR on watch here, Structure Therapeutics, reporting their 12-week results for their obesity drug, apparently losing more weight than expected. So nice look here for GPCR, 8.8% short float, $1.5 billion market cap. So fairly small cap stock here to watch out for, guys.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Adair. The small caps are going to have to wait because we might be holding VWAP here on NVIDIA. Going to try to take a second swing on that one. Is it? Oh, it's right back through 40.
AMD broke.
Down? No.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So look, it's one of those days where look, NVIDIA's still holding VWAP and trying to press higher. AMD's continuing to break low. So you get the relative weakness. They both had positive news that it was of the same ilk, but obviously one's going differently than the other. So if we dip into 1135 one more time, I might still take a shot there. It's still relatively strong. Just double checking GME because I do not want, okay, so GameStop's trying to put in a higher low. If we break out the top, a 5 break on AMC is now available if it does break out that high. Higher lows temporarily, but the pattern is still to said downside. We're still in BlackBerry short. We've got Rivian long 15s in front of 11. That could come out, but Apple just bounced off 194. Sometimes it's not the dip buy that you want. It's the one that you can get. So it is what it is. It's not going to be VWAP today, it doesn't look like.
We'll go cha-ching on, we knew we wanted we talked about getting the dip buy in Tesla, so we got that, we put it on the board, and it is P&L 1, it's not even close. I mean, obviously, as AMD we lost on, but we did go short there on AMD, and now we're starting to pull back in. When our level breaks, we'll just reverse it. Obviously, we have that ability. Look what Tesla's doing. You want to talk about a stock? We just reloaded it at 180 twice, right there. Now it's at 180, 190? What? Neil, this stock just went up $2 in a straight line, and we managed to buy the bottom there? Are you kidding me? All right, nice little trade there. You'd think it was obvious, but we did write it down on here at 180, and just a strong stock. And look, if we didn't trade GameStop today, man, oh man, would we be bumping, but we're still fine. It's just GameStop has not worked out as, there goes AMD. Let's see if we can get lower on this one. Tesla's really mooning right here again. This is trading right here, guys. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, that's about as real as it can get. We just follow our rules, but we did also follow our rules with AMD, and looky, man, we reversed that, and there it goes right now for a face slapper on advanced micro devices as it goes to the downside. We get our revenge on losing lots of money on Friday as this one's heading to the downside right there on that. We have a big winner on Tesla, and of course, GameStop continues to be a nightmare. And I want to clarify that because Michelle Hebert was like, how is GameStop a nightmare when it's up 36%? It's because it was up 80% at one point. What's up, Adara?
Just be aware there are some of these NYSE stocks that appear to be halting right now. Berkshire, so BRK.A, one example, down about 99.97%. Apparently this is a glitch in the system and NYSE is investigating. I'm seeing this circulating around Twitter, but just in case some people are wondering what's going on with some of these stocks, there do appear to be some glitches with regards to halts and significant halts down here for some of these NYSE stocks, guys.
Chipotle was halted
Yeah,
earlier.
Like if you're stuck in one of those, you're just basically in a holding pattern. So just be careful. I'm actually not even I'm only in NASDAQ stocks right now, so thankfully that's going to be true because I think anything on the NYSE, if they're having those issues, could be in the pocket. So I'm going to avoid anything that is showing a halt. Obviously, don't throw orders out on that. I think that goes without saying, but I'm saying it anyways. So we got our first buy into AMD when it tagged that 167 level. It's just held. 74s, I think, is the local bottom. So we got some on the way down, which usually I'm not a fan of, but then it wicked the bottom, and I took the rest on the way back up through. I end up with the same price anyways. It's just the way you get filled. If we break a fresh low, I'm out. If we get to halves, evens, 169, that's what we're looking for on that name. Rivian's still holding 11, but only barely. And I got another leg out on BlackBerry only because like it bounced, and then higher lows as GameStop is flushing. I reloaded VWAP and taking some out in the middle of the range here. So we're staying net. I'm staying net short this name. But if there is a breakout on these meme stocks, I fully expect BlackBerry is going to come out above VWAP for me. But we're still staying it for now. As long as it's working, we're going to keep with it. So AMD bouncing off that 67, but it could not get through 40. So that first $0.50 proving to be a little bit elusive. NVIDIA was the chip long that worked initially. We had a good scalp trade there, but now you're putting in some lower highs. So NVIDIA could be a bit of a reverse if it does not hold on to 11.25. Still a bit of an upward trend, and if I'm going to get a chip name short, Intel was the one I wanted. This is the first bounce since that open range. So I think we'll look for 30.5 here on INTC. Down 1.5% when everything else is up. Tells me that it's weak.
Here comes GameStop right back into $30. So again, you know, we'll lose everything on GameStop today. Like, it's our only red stock. While AMD, we have to, that's $1 in the money. We're going to wait to see what happens with that one. Right now, could easily rip back up. But here goes GameStop breaking through 30 is what's going to happen. So we'll get stopped out once that does happen. Right now, breaking through $30 as GameStop kind of comes back to life a little bit here. Still, like many of you were saying, GameStop's still up on the day. But yeah, for
but
long,
it's not going to go
I
red.
don't know.
Well, okay, probably
it's
not.
not going to go red. No, it shouldn't. But if it continues this way, it probably may. All right, numbers with Adara. It's a monster move for AMD. Tesla's giving it back a little bit as we cleared out of half of our reload on Tesla. Basically, we just wait for GameStop over for numbers.
We're looking for some ISM data here. ISM manufacturing PMI for May, construction spending month over month, ISM manufacturing new orders, and manufacturing prices. So we just got manufacturing PMI here, 48.7% lower than the previous of 49.2 and the consensus of 49.6. Manufacturing employment 51.1, that's going to be higher than the consensus of 48.5. Construction spending month over month a little bit lower here than the consensus, negative 0.1 versus positive 0.2 consensus. Then we do have the ISM manufacturing new orders 45.4 versus 49.4, so lower than expected. And manufacturing price is a little bit lower than expected as well, 57 versus 60 consensus. Bit of a move up here for the SPY on those numbers after trailing off a little bit here. Lots to talk about today. Of course, we had this chip strength, meme stocks having a bit of a resurgence there as well after Roaring Kitty posted on Reddit. But we have some other names to talk about too, including Paramount here, up almost 9% after CNBC and Wall Street Journal both reported over the weekend and on Monday morning that Skydance is poised to announce its takeover of Paramount and actually is set to, according to CNBC, Skydance and Red Bear are set to own 2/3 of Paramount after the close today. So PARA to the upside. We also have Spotify on watch here. Nice little halt up about 5.5% after raising the prices for its premium subscription. So no shortage of names to keep an eye on today, guys.
So Spotify still hanging around that 315 area. So yeah, not much going on there. Tesla or GME went back up to flat for us, and then it stopped again. It went right back to 31.50, and then completely stopped. So we have shares. We'll take a piece out if it gets into that area, and then we'll, like I said, I mean, I think this 34 is something we want to wait for, but I mean, I can't wait for too long. I just keep on punching out, which is fine. We've been flattened there, and then there, and then there. So basically 0 for 3 so far, buying little dips in GameStop, and trying to hold out, right? It's not like we're just getting in and getting out. I mean, we're trying to hold out for these moves. I mean, we had this one $1.50, and then it broke lower. Same thing with this one as it came back up to the upside. So we'll have to hold on right now to see if we can hold through 30 bucks. I mean, like I said, we were just long at 32, and it went to 34. And before bouncing back lower. So, yeah, all right. There goes AMD. We've already gotten some really nice wick bottoms there at 166.70. So let's put another one there. See if we get another fill down by the wayside, and then we'll wait to see if. Okay, here goes GME. Well, I was gonna say we'll wait to see if there it is. If GME breaks, and there it does break. So bye goes GME. Nice downside pressure there for this name back into $29. So yeah, bye GameStop. Really too bad because we've really made a lot of money on Tesla, but lost just as much on GameStop. So nice move down for GME.
Oh, it's getting. I'm looking for a break back up above 30 on GameStop. I'm only bottom hunting a false break of a key level. So whether it's 30, whether it could have been 31 in there, but obviously that's not going to be the case. I'll look at almost every single even dollar level, but I'm not trying. Like, I don't want to catch a falling knife.
Wow,
I only
AMD.
want to like see a bounce and then get right back through. But AMD, Sean just said, "Wow, AMD." My level is come and gone. So I waited for 67 dip by. And on the ISM number, I got out, it wicked me out, I got right back in at my key level, but I'm gonna stop out every single time. So trade it at one level, lose at one level, move on from there. I'm short Intel, it's barely moved just yet. And obviously with this move continuing down, like, you know, just sort of sitting in BlackBerry has obviously worked. Still looking for that bottom at that 280 level, but it's starting to get nasty in the world. And one name we haven't talked about, but I'm just going to pull up. Here we go. Holding up 6% is ARM. So you're seeing the market right back into lows. ARM looking decently strong at this moment. It's still above the breakout from last week, which is $126. So if you're filing things into these little buckets of relative strength and relative weakness, ARM holding 126 is quite bullish. Another one out here for you if we're talking relative strength and weakness. Meta is was at the high of the day a couple of minutes ago, but starting to pull back. But still, one of the relatively strong names here is going to be Meta. But my eyes are going to be on ARM. We already like one chip name short. That's Intel. We grabbed it underneath 30.5. And if we're another leg down, I think the move's to 30 because that was the bottom on Friday. That was the bottom on Thursday. So I think there's at least a 1% move down for Intel. Apparently, Dell is crashing as well. But the market's testing lows. So there's going to be a few names at these bottoms.
We've got we got a doozy of a trade right here. We went $2 in the money on Tesla. It's just too bad that we lost on GameStop because other than that, man, I mean, and I just tweeted this out. You know, you're going to lose 30, 40, 50 cents on this AMD trade, or we got out once it broke 80s there, so 25s out 80, so yeah, 50 cents. And then this happens, and now you're in the money $1.30. So let's just wait to see what happens on this move back in. We did talk about some of the problems that they were having at the NYSE, so looks like we're probably resolved now again. As we've halted and looks like we've reopened on Burke. Another report that I heard in my ear was CMG. This still looks halted, as you can see. Look at this. So CMG went down to $1,000 here on some kind of, it looks like J, which would be Edge A, some dark prints, Edge X. So yeah, so they're gonna halt that, trying to figure out why that just dumped $1,500 down to the downside. And again, glitch, as my kids say. Dad, the computer's glitching. Yeah. All right, we got that 1.5 gigabyte or whatever that 5 internet is. It ain't glitching anywhere. There it is right now. Nice move down. We are almost now $2 in the money, and here comes 166. So let's go ring that register as you go. And by the way, for anybody that has not yet checked it out, we talked a little bit about it, and I don't have it up because I have to go find it. But the Freedom and Wealth podcast has dropped, and again, we were really, really excited to bring this to you. The quality of the content is great. The quality of one host is absolutely great as well. Oh, look at this. We got another one here ready to go soon. But look at this right here. This is what we're talking about. Look at that. Great quality, great editing. Thanks, Fabian, Ramin, everybody that's working super hard on this. Thank you to Mark. Wow, here we go, man. Tesla, by the way, is $1 club right now. AMD right now is $1 club. If you like trading and day trading, I'm here for you. You want to talk a little bit about freedom and wealth? We're here for you. So we're all here. And I want to say thank you so much for all the comments. Like, I really just went through all of these when this thing was dropping. And I mean, this is exactly great approach, guys. Down to earth, honest, keep it real, learning lots. Yeah, I had a funny example about Tinder in there. Love the pod. Had to turn down some jobs in New York. Love the pod about safety nets. Love the talk about risk, trying to go outside of trading to get better. Love you. See you soon. Love you too. What podcast player is it on? Nothing. It's just on YouTube right now. Anyways, goes on and goes on and goes on. So here we go all the way to the downside, and we'll have to keep on watching to see where it goes. But thank you so much for supporting the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Episode 1 is in the books. Go check it out. If you listen to it in the chat, thank you so much. If not, go find it immediately, as we'll post those in the chat and all over the place, socials and whatnot. There it goes, man. There's AMD. Wow, what a day it would be without GME, but we have to trade the names that we traded, and it's a nice move to the downside right now for GME, and obviously there, Tesla. We destroyed it. Tesla, I can check, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be, it's P&L 1 here on the floor today, Tesla. So there it goes right now. It's a good trade. So far, so good. Let's see what happens.
So there's a couple of questions. What happened to SMR and all this stuff? Like there's a halt issue that's happening on the NYSE. This particular name, like obviously you have like down to like 13 cents worth of trade. Until something opens up, you got to wait around, just see where things settle ultimately. So SMR, $9. It's still in the halt. And if you look, the best resource, I think, when you're looking at halts, if anyone knows a better one, you know, it's you guys can tell me, but the NASDAQ trade halt page is generally speaking where I like to go for information. And one thing you're not going to see here for a lot of these is you're not going to see them posting the halts. So a lot of those erroneous halts are not posted in here. So allow the stock to maybe settle through the issues that they're having. But if you don't see it up here, I would just be patient and play it by ear. So obviously you have like the LPA from last week, DXYZ, we know that one goes crazy. I haven't checked that in a while. I'm sure it's pretty nasty. But there is still this thing, which is not halting. And obviously GameStop has not had a good day. But I think the best you can do, if you like the long on it, which I'm not going to pretend I didn't, you're going to be down because you like longs and it's going down. Simple as that. You take your levels. I tried 35. The next possible place where I would have, and I wasn't anticipating you'd be down at the last week's top in front of $26. But that's where we're headed. So that's the only other spot. I think it makes some sense down here at 26. I was looking for a break back to 30. Guess what? Didn't break back to 30, so we're not long that name. As you're continuing to absolutely flush, 26 would be that next little level for me on GME as it starts to get a little bit nasty. Rivian just took out 11, so we'll get out of that one as well, as we are definitely flushing in this market. I wish I could tell you I had a couple more shorts in there. I am going to look at ARM just in case it does take that 128. But we are absolutely flushing this market. Been holding BlackBerry, which is obviously going to be my best stock because I was in it the entire way. But we knew we'd be sitting in this one on a meme day. We did the same thing last time. And the last time it was a meme Monday, BlackBerry was my best stock in the morning because I just sat in the short in that last time. So it worked. It's now worked twice. BlackBerry shouldn't even be with these stocks. It doesn't even have a short float anymore. It doesn't make sense. That's why we shorted.
All right, we'll try a little bit of GameStop down here as it's trying to bounce a little. Oops, that's still. Oh, by the way, AMD. The reason why we did like this, Neil was mentioning not having any shorts. I mean, we're now we are 250 in the money.
Well, that's wrong. I'm not long BlackBerry. What the heck?
Okay. We are right now. We'll just have to restart it. All right. So it's a nice move downside right here for AMD. As there it goes, man. 165.50. I mean, let's go. Right now, $2 and change in the money on advanced micro devices. As we flip the script up right there. We said about what kind of a day this would be if we just didn't have GME, but you got to trade the names that you have. And with that being said, we have Tesla right now. We have 10% left of Tesla. We reloaded it. We got so many out. I mean, just 8 outs, 9 outs here, so that's why we have the 10% left. Looking at 179 break. So let's try it a little bit more down here at 179. We just let AMD crack, so let's put a bid now as it's trying to get back up. I mean, that's exactly... You're here to trade. I mean, this is honestly buy the 168s, flip it down. That's for me a big change right there. We got railroaded on a Friday. We talked about that on the way up. We never flipped to long. We just kept going long. Well, look what happens. You want to talk about learning from mistakes? I mean, we were long AMD right here, off the stick, long. Flipped it up. You got to have that ability. That's why longevity, we talk about that right around here. Just don't trade one style. Just don't trade your style. You got to also sometimes think about, hey, where in my style has been going wrong? And lately, that has been trying to average in and not believing in a certain move. Well, you don't do that with AMD. And I didn't do it either with GameStop. So right now we're $1 in the money, woohoo. I feel like we've been $1 in the money many times here. So there it goes again. Now officially $1 in the money on GameStop. But says Stone Cold. We will be stubborn with this one because this owes us much more than a 6-pack. So this is going to go right up to the upside. By the way, I haven't had a beer in a minute. I got to have one of those. I got to go back to some sporting events. Nice move back up there to the upside here for GME. Tesla, look, man. No Tesla, no cry, because we're already in and out of this one. This is a big move for us. If it breaks 179, then we'll consider getting out. I'm trying to buy more down near the bottom here of TSLA, that bottom being 179. So if we can get into that level, we'll buy a little bit more, dump it through 179. But for now, let this drop in a little bit. We only have 10% left. It's AMD that is really, Neil, starting to crank. It's going lower, lower, lower. Now 250 in the money.
And guess what just followed it? Well, okay, maybe following it. NVIDIA was strong. NVIDIA's taking out the lows right now. And I said if ARM gets underneath 128, it's now underneath that resistance level. 126 break is previous highs, so looking for the short there. I've got my order back in for the 30 break on GME because I'm only taking this on the way back up. I want to see a lower high, and I want to see it break out a top, and then I'll jump into it. What I don't want is what we were doing before, which was grabbing that long into 35 even. Forget that. Like, let it make a bottom and then just take it breaking out. If the momentum can carry it through into a halt, great. Then you can sort of rinse that one, hold through the halt, maybe take some out before it halts. Hold through to VWAP 35, I think will be a pretty key level as well. So we just got to be patient for it. At the end of the day, it's all about risk to reward, right? So like, you've got to try to keep things in the pocket. I was long on AMD. Obviously, it's not going to end up working out. I didn't have a short thesis on that stock, so I'm not really going to jump over to it. I think it's good if you grabbed it. If it can get back into that level, it's a level before. If it rejects it, then I'd look for a lower high, maybe play it in terms of that way. So GameStop, I think 30 break and GME is the most likely next trade for myself. At least that's what it's looking like. So I'm going to get over to that GameStop. I just don't want to miss the break. And once it's in, I'm immediately throwing like a 29.5 stop in. Like the second, I want that working pretty much right away. Like if it can't work right away, then I'm not going to be involved in it, holding it down to 28. I want to be getting in, getting out, ensuring that we have some kind of a stop level. Manuel saying Micron's pretty strong. I think that's fair. I see James Choi. I love this. AMD was long from 165. Exit 250. Everybody's time frame is different. I think if you like AMD in the absolute long term, then buying any of these prices is probably going to be good if you're holding at 250. That means you're essentially holding it forever, which I can respect. But GameStop about to break that $30 level, just got to $29.99 without breaking. So the second it prints over, I should be long. Maybe we get like 10s. You could get you get 5s, you get 10s, you get 15s. My stop's going in at 29.5. If it goes immediately into like $1 or $2 into this resistance at 32, I scalp some out. If it goes into an up halt at any point, I scalp some out as well. So we just got GameStop. Again, a little bit of a different way to get into position here, where I was waiting for it to make that bottom, break out that higher low, and then we take some in. My stop is at 29.5. If you're following along, so now I have my orders out there. We can go over to AMC. If you're following along, like a sympathy play, I mean, you could take 5, but I think you're late to that move. You would have already had to be in this one. So we're in a GameStop. This will be the first time we actually take a breakout trade on the stock, and we'll see if it's at least a little bit different. It's been an absolute dumpster fire to the downside since the open. Halt down into lower highs and lower lows. It bottomed at 28. I didn't think that was a level. I thought 26 would have been a better level. So we're trying to catch it on the upswing here. With that move up, what I'm going to do here is jump on over. We're not really doing anything on BlackBerry, but if we are going to break higher, I should get something out here. Just going to pop on the midpoint and see if I can't get some 287 halves, as that continues to absolutely do nothing. So I want to sit short as long as there's no monster breakouts and no halts up on GameStop. So Dell's trying to catch a bit of a bid. I hear people talking about Micron and Marvell as well. I would much rather be trading the chip names that we're more accustomed to. Micron, I know, is relatively strong in here, but I feel like it's going to be ARM that I'm going to be involved in. But, sometimes on GameStop, every approach is going to be different. If this is the move on GME, all it will do is get me green on the stock if we get to 33. I'm ideally hoping for a halt up, but I did just ring the register at 31. I said I would ring the register on the way to 32 and then hold for, we like to say hold for the dream. I just mean you're holding for a bigger move at that point. Now, a bigger move can mean VWAP. A bigger move can mean into a halt. I'm anticipating if you get into VWAP or a halt, VWAP, then you're going to halt. And if it does halt, I want to hold. I want to have taken profit into it and then hold through the halt. So we just scalped the first dollar. I'm not moving my stop unless it breaks and holds above 31 even. If that does happen, then I move my stop back into break even for sure. Ciro's asking about SMCI. You're pretty on point on SMCI, but I rarely see you on it. The honest answer as to why I'm on point on SMCI, I've traded SMCI 3 times in my life, and 3 times I've taken the exact same setup, and it's gone 3 for 3. But it was a very specific setup on SMCI, which just doesn't happen every single day. Let me go to the 3-minute chart. What it basically is, and it's not set up here, is it tries to break out a previous top, fails that top, and then I short it under VWAP after the opening range is set. So no break of previous highs, I mean, clearly I could just make it up that, hey, well, if you shorted VWAP here, it would work. No, it was specific. It was like it tries to take out a previous high the day before, fails that at the open, and then usually about 10 to 10:30, I'm shorting it off of VWAP when it has that setup. And in 2 years, it's happened. I've seen it 3 times and traded it 3 times. So it's not really always about, oh, I trade this stock great, I'm 3 for 3 on it. No, I'm 3 for 3 doing a setup on SMCI, which just so happens to be working for me, that's all. But it's trend down like AMD. Actually, never mind. AMD's bouncing here and it's not bouncing. So AMD's bouncing, it's not really bouncing at all. But it's GameStop that's back on my mind here, guys.
Look, we were at $1.123 in the money on GameStop. We're now $2 in the money, and let's see if it goes. We also cleaned out of all of our, well, we still have, again, we have 10% of AMD left. You know, our Tesla, we're waiting to get lower. But here we go. Let's go. It's GameStop. It's $31. It just touched out to there. So I should say we weren't $3 in the money. It went to 31.20s there. So we're long at 28.50. So not bad. I guess $3, $2.80 there as we're starting to go one more time here on GameStop. So let's see if it can, you know, make this stock great again. If we can get something out in and around 33.50, I think that's probably the right play.
Speaking of which,
yeah, sure.
We haven't mentioned DJT, but it's been down since it's been under some pressure since the verdict. But what just happened here was a false break of 50. You clearly see the move down, but a false break of 50 at the open. I'd watch this one if it continues this like lower high with a rejection of 50. It is super thin, and there's no interest in it with the volume, which usually means it might just start coming back into earth. I haven't paid for locates. I have actually no idea what they're going to cost. But I do think that one should be in play with that false break at 50. I like when something false breaks, you trap some longs that might have taken that 50 level. Let's go over to Adara for the small cap recap.
Of course it is.
Quite a few small caps making some interesting moves today. Here is IWM, the Russell 2000, slightly positive in the day, just trying to hold on to this neutral territory here. Did have this nice decline throughout the day, though, for the IWM. We do have BPTH Biopath here, up about 70+%. This was actually in the watch list this morning, trading higher after announcing some positive data for its phase 2 study for acute myeloid leukemia treatment. It also does have a short float of about 8%. We also have Structure Therapeutics here, GPCR. This is another short float name, over 10% short float, announcing some positive data for its obesity study. And last but not least here, we have Macrogenics. This one does not have a catalyst, MCGX, but this one is up to the upside of about 20%. They do a short float of about 14%. So short float move here for MCGX, guys.
Chat there, shout out, who was it? Oh, there it is. Matthew, what's up? What's up, Matthew, right here? Manta. Apple is doing exactly what you wrote on the Friday sticky note. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I try to play one way, right? I mean, there's Apple right there, 193 long, 191 dip buy. We also had the 168 level figured out there for AMD, Palantir. I mean, a lot of these names are still at the same level. And there's GME, 21 long. I mean, we posted that on our weekly note. We posted it right here on Friday, 21 long GME. I mean, there we go. Oh man, maybe that's why Roaring Kitty loaded up. Who knows? But there it is. Oh yeah, by the way, we had a great day golfing there with my guy on Saturday, and then over on Instagram as well. Here's a picture of me and my boy as we went down. 72 likes. Thank you so much for all of that. Golfing was really fun. So go over, check me out on Instagram at TraderTVSean, and here on Twitter as well. There's me and Brendan. Nice eyes, dude. My eyes aren't even that color, that much brown. But there it goes right there. Good editing, guys, as we go. And here's what it was this morning. Well, that trade of the week worked out pretty well. GameStop up 88%. Well, you're not going to see that up anymore as we go. There might be only one guy laughing all the way to the bank. There he is right there again. So huge moves, man. Congratulations to Roaring Kitty. He went long. Everyone jumped on board. That popped up huge. Now he probably sold. And once again there, we always look around. Who's the dumb money? Put up your hand right here. So we'll wait to see if this can come back up to the upside right now. And then there goes CMG right now, waiting to see as it just resumed itself going. So now the NYSE is trying to figure itself out. We did have some downside prints and Burke. Oh, this still halted.
No, Berk A, it's still halted.
It's Berk A, but Berk B is the one that's fine, and Berk B is the one that we're worried about. This is the one that does the volume. So this was fine. Berk A is the one that got cranked. All right. Good day, man. I mean, let's go GME. Come on. You're just trying to break through. You got to break through this 50-period moving average. I mean, we could sit there and take a piece out at 31.50. If it gets there, I mean, obviously, it needs to get there if we're going to get out of this. So I think 33 is still what I'm looking for, man. 33, 33.50. Let's see if this one can moon. There goes Tesla again, guys. What world are we even living in right now? Tesla, cheers to you, Tesla, as it just keeps on going. What a day to trade one more time here today. Fun with GameStop. Huge trading on AMD and Tesla. It doesn't get any better than this, man. You could have just been buying these dips and boom, back up to the upside as the market goes. And then today is a great day to look at your 401ks because
Apple 1.5.
Oh, hell yeah.
Meta's strong
Apple
too.
is bumping right now. Meta's bumping.
Meta's a
mentioned NVIDIA.
Well, NVIDIA's okay. Look, it's Meta, it's Apple. I actually don't know about Microsoft, so I'll double check that one because I feel like you're probably heavier, most people are probably heavy in Microsoft because it's a bigger part of the portfolio, the S&P and the NASDAQ. It's not looking too great on Microsoft. So look, if Microsoft starts holding VWAP, breaking this channel down, I think the overall market's gonna look a heck of a lot better because it's still pretty divided, right? Like your NASDAQ, it's up half a point, but we've had a break, the highs, then we test the lows, and then we're right back in the middle. So I think you're in a bit of a holding pattern. I'm still in the meme names, but it's a re-entry into GameStop. If 30 holds, great. I have a 29.5 stop. I could have just scalped out again at that 31, but I'm looking for there to be a bottom and then a break back into VWAP in here. So the next order is going to be at the 32 level for sure. Look at NIO, we were told. See, this is why I didn't get involved in NIO. I like Li Auto, but I did not like NIO whatsoever unless it was back into really like 480, not even $5. Like that's the support level up there, or it's got a breakout 6. Speaking of Li Auto, I guess we're not going to get $20 on Li Auto at the open. It's at 20.5. There was a dip buy opportunity. Clearly, I guess you could have had any price that you bought on the dip on Li Auto, but I wanted $20 specifically. So it's still got another $0.50 to head into the downside over there. Oh, we just jinxed Apple, maybe.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, just so everybody knows, you know, here we have about like 75% of the traders behind us red, and I believe it's probably because of GameStop, right? And it's just been a tough trade today, for sure, because you've been trying to chase the long. So you had to be very, very specific down there at 28.50. So let's see what winds up happening now. Maybe we break above this $30 level and hold it, like we're above it right now, but it's got to hold. Are we halted or something? GameStop, there's something wrong
with the
yeah,
NYSE
there's something wrong at the NYSE
I'd
right
be
now.
careful trading, like a lot of NYSE stocks have been glitchy here, so you just got to be careful. I'm in a couple, and they don't. BlackBerry is not printing, so it doesn't really matter, but GameStop, clearly the quote's not good.
Yeah, so right now GME, some of these names are going to be off. So I see it still trading, though. It is still trading. It's just our quote. So it's
just a quote.
It's at $30.46 right now for GME. So here's an actual chart that's working out for us right now. Oops, that was just frozen when I brought it down. But here's GameStop. Yeah, for some reason now even my charts are like really super frozen here. So that doesn't make any sense. All right, let me move this back up. I don't know, my computer is like now at a standstill. Are we uploading or something or downloading something, Fabian? Okay. Well, right now, my computer is kaput, so that's fun.
I'm not even seeing, okay, maybe there's just not many prints happening. Like I just went over to a NASDAQ stock like ARM. We should be flying around here, but I'm not really seeing a heck of a lot of prints. It is what it is. I mean, I'm still in GameStop. I think execution should still be up. I mean, I was able to get a fill before. I've got a stop order protecting me underneath 29.5. So with any luck, that should be okay. Apple's trying to break a 195. Yeah, you got to watch out for your stop orders. Apple's trying to break a 195, but as I said, I kind of have ARM on my radar here as we just made another push higher, and ARM is failing underneath VWAP. So it's back underneath that 128. So I feel like the short opportunity is starting to come in here for ARM. When it was relatively strong, fine, but it's now making lower highs on this name. So one failed breakthrough, 127.5, and I will look for the short. I've been trimming BlackBerry. The longer we hold 30, the more I'm getting out of BlackBerry. And if it wicks VWAP again, I might jump back into the short, but not a heck of a lot happening. You had to get this one early or on those down halts on GME. That's where it was all about. Meta is now off to the races and pretty much gone. Now, if you're looking for key levels in here, I'd feel way better about dip buys. On the daily, 480 is the 50 period on the daily. It's not a place that I want to be chasing it. It's a lot of resistance up here at the 80 to 81. If anything, look, I mean, Meta long at 470. In hindsight being 2020, that looked like a good break, but I can't rewind time. I don't have, this is an open range, and I'm not James Brolin, so I can't really time travel. All we can do is make the next trade, and 480 to 481 is resistance on Meta. It gets up there, and I'm looking short. I had no thought that we're going to see that price today, but here we are, $3 away.
All right. All right. So we're just watching out for GameStop here. I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. It is trading at $30.60. So we are in the money right now, $2 on, oh, there it is. So now you're starting to get some moving around here. All right, so let's go over to Adara as it is 10:30. Tesla and NASDAQ is fine. We just got another piece out.
Interesting story coming here in the world of Ethereum, seeing from a couple different places reporting here that apparently crypto exchanges have seen $3 billion worth of Ethereum exiting since the ETF approval. So that timeline they're giving is May 23rd to June 2nd. Also, apparently Bitcoin reserves are pretty low as well. So interesting look there. This could also, from what I'm seeing here, signal potential upcoming supply squeeze. So a squeeze for ETH could be on watch after receiving that ETF approval. It's an interesting story here from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin itself, you're trying to push back into that previous level of resistance that we've now seen come in a few times now, or in that $72,000 area. Right now, just knocking on the door of 70,000 at 69,700, up about 2%. Ethereum basically flat today, just above that 3,800 level. BNB strong, up about 5%. The rest of these crypto names kind of mixed here. We do have some weakness in Solana, USDC, and Avalanche. Cardano up about 0.5%. Dogecoin up just under 1%. So very mixed performance for a lot of these crypto names as we head into the rest of the day, guys.
All right, GameStop still $30.70.
It's printing mid-70s right now. So it looks
oh,
like
good. Our thing is working. Okay, yeah. So the quotes won't be on. Yeah, it's working now. You can see the time in sales. So that's what you're looking at right now, $30.80. That's where GME is actually trading. So time in sales is right, but quotes are wrong. So just for everybody trading with us, the time in sales is right. The quotes are wrong. So right there, because I'm looking at it on eSignal, that is what it's trading at. Right there, now it's going. Let's go, man. Let's get that hot dog cannon out as GameStop is now printing 31.30s right now. Now that $3 in the money. We printing now, baby, on GameStop as it starts to go right back up to the upside. So let's go. Maybe we should put an offer where we thought 34 or so dollars on GME because we're starting to make a little bit of cash back here. 31.20s, 31.50s. Let's go GameStop. This is what we're talking about. It's starting to roar upside right now for GME. Great trade there. Bounced off of that 31.50 level. Hard to chart it, but it looks like it's starting to move around now on our charts. Just the quotes are what's off. So I'm going to have to adjust this hide, lock, cross stuff and see if we can get it all figured out.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you got to do. So we have the ability to like hide locked markets. Sometimes it works. Right now, I'm still seeing a bit of a cross on my book. So I'm going to get some out here in front of 32. So you can see on the chart that it's trading up here. There are some stuck orders. I'm just realizing because the stuck level 2, if you're trading at real trading, just be careful. You can set your stop orders to either look for prints on the time and sales or quotes on the level 2. If you got a stuck quote, you want to make sure that your stop order is triggering because of a print on the time and sales. At real trading, you can actually differentiate which one you want. So in a situation where your quote's not good, then you just go by the tick. In a situation the tick's not good, you can go by the quote. You can go back and forth. So you just want to make sure that that's what you're doing in here. That's what I love. It's for traders, by traders. For situations like this, we can still be all good. It doesn't seem to want to break 31.50. It's making another attempt now. If it fails it, I'm going to get back out underneath 31.50, but you're seeing it press through. Some bidders up here. Now it's starting to go. Gimme 75s. Okay, I just took some out there at 73 or something like that on GME, so it's continuing to go higher. Now my stop is going to be underneath 30. We'll go with break even. We waited for it to actually curl, make a higher low, then just take a breakout. Now I want to hold for VWAP or the Dream. The Dream would be an up halt that just goes even further than that. But like I said, unless it gets up to VWAP, then we go green on the stock at that point, just picking our spots.
All right, we are now reloaded one more time on, you can guess it, it's Tesla. So right now we're loaded back up on Tesla. We just get a 35 fill. And again, we're trying to make money, so we're putting on some shares here. There goes Tesla, nice move back up to the upside. We'll start taking it out now for 30, 40, 50 cents. It's been a big trade today for Tesla, needless to say. It's really worked out. AMD is now, guys, geez. You want to talk about trading. AMD is now $3 in the money to the downside. Tesla, I mean, this has been a darling of a trade right here for TSLA just to hit this long. I don't know where that even came from. And then we're long now $4 in the money, by the way, on GME as you're starting to go back up to the upside right now. So we don't have to, like I said, we don't show you anything other than our positions, but I mean, Tesla on triple reloads down there. It's been a good stock there today, needless to say. But we'll just get some more out here at 45s. We're not even, like the market right now is under the 50 period. It's under everything. We could easily break lower right now. That's just a 200 period moving average, which is coinciding with basically the pre-market high from 8 to 8:30, 7 to 8:30. Right there at 179. So we may try a little bit more down here just because it's worked. But if we break through 179, I don't think we're too interested, man. I mean, that's the 200 period right there. Nothing on, nothing here. We like the 180 break. And we've made a lot of money on it. I've already told you it's PL1, it's not close. That's Tesla, huge move to the upside there today. And again, watch out. Like the levels that I'm really looking at is 176, 174. So if those come into play, then that's, you know, we don't need to be holding all the way down there. So we'll wait for that. And by the way, AMD is just $1, $2, $3 right now in the money on AMD. So here we go again, guys. Let's just see what happens with GameStop coming off that $32 area.
Yeah, but it's still trend up. Most of the printing is, like if you watch the tape, it's very, very green and very strong. On GameStop, you would have seen me say, okay, I'm taking another leg out on BlackBerry. Right when GameStop was making that next break, we did, and guess what? Just continues to go lower. So I've been sitting in it all morning long. I'm up on the memes because of this stock obviously being short, but we're about to go green if we can break that 33 area on GameStop. But that's because we had to wait for it. You know, the memes have not been what you've expected, with the exception of a few heading only to the downside. You just have to be able to take your pot shots. Make sure that your risk to reward is going to be in the pocket. So even if you have a bad morning or a couple of hits in there, it's relative to the amount that you're able to win. AMC, for what it's worth, it's still at $5 or in and around the $5 and doing absolutely nothing. And I want to get to Novavax here, because there's a difference between this squeeze name, I think, and some other ones. They did have positive news a couple of weeks ago. I think it was with Sanofi, at least a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it might have been a little bit longer than that, actually. From Sanofi, essentially getting a lifeline, not going to be going bankrupt. It might take out the top here on Novavax. It's trying to get through the 17 area. I much prefer dip buys at this time of day. So if it's going to hold VWAP, which it just did, might like some Novavax in here. So good look on anybody. Nav just putting that one in the chat. I've seen a few people put Novavax. It's a NASDAQ stock, so I don't have to worry about any quote issues or anything like that that's been going on with the NYSE. The longer it holds VWAP, going to look for another dip buy, either 16 half bounce, VWAP bounce, and then hold into a high of the day break. I don't want to take the break. I want to take the dip. Let's go to Adara.
Here's the news on Novavax here. We do have staff from the U.S. FDA, according to Reuters, saying that COVID vaccine makers should be looking to target some specific subvariants in their 2024 to 2025 campaign. So basically, FDA saying that there are some specific subvariants that COVID vaccine makers should be targeting. Looks like this is what NVDA is moving up on here, guys.
All right. Thank you, Adara. I just put a stop in there for $3. If it breaks through 164.60. So we'll take our $3 there. Like I said, in a trade that's just worked again for us. Tesla again down there at 179. I mean, look at this. Here we go. Wow. All right. Huge move up here for Tesla. Huge move up. Again, I'm just surprised because the market's not doing anything. So when you talk about percentage-wise, it's not a huge move. But I was not, like the fact that the market's all the way down here, where exactly is Tesla going to go and how much money are we going to make if this name just keeps on going? I mean, there it goes again. It's maddening, of course, that we had this GameStop in our blotter earlier, but GameStop, again, now starting to pull back in, just bounced off that $32 level one more time there for GME. So we could still put an offer there for GameStop upside, but you guys know what we're doing here. Tesla continues to make the moves right there, and then GameStop at $3, $4, $5 now in the money. So far, so good here. We'll wait to see what winds up happening with AMD, and the reason why I put this bid out here for AMD is we're $350 in the money. So not bad. Take some profit if we can. The second thing here is that, again, you got to reward yourself. You know, it's not, you could see, it's not easy to have $3, $4, $5 winners on board, regardless of the name, NVIDIA, anything, because when the P&L comes through, it's like, oh man, I got to get out. But you don't always have to do that. So I'm going to look right now, this 164, I really would like to hold it. We just got out there for $3, but let me tell you why. That 164 is why I put the stop. I mean, if we break lower than that, great. I mean, we're short all the way up here. So it's a huge move down in. We'll take that $3 and then we'll be like, thank you. That is the closing of that trade right there. It is AMD. And then now, here we go. Let's see if we get a huge move back up for Tesla. Despite us going right now 0 for 3, 0 for 4 on GME, we're going to hold the last little bit and see if it can go back to the upside. And here goes Tesla. You got to have big winners if you're going to have big losers. And that's what we're here for right now, hopefully to get rid of those losers. But Tesla back through 180. Let's get something out at VWAP 180.50. Yes, sir. What a reload there for me on Tesla, honestly. Just happy to put that through. And there it goes. Upside, huge move. It's 10:40. We'll get to what's for lunch when I get it. But for now, over to Adara.
Looking at the sector board here, it's pretty clear that the NASDAQ is leading the market. We have Apple, Apple, NVIDIA, and some of these other chip names propelling this market to the upside here. NVDA and AMD both announcing some new chip-related news, so nice look for them. Boeing also pretty strong here, despite a price target decrease in the this technology sector. We do have as well tech services, some strength here as well. Health technology strong across the board. We do have the American Society of Clinical Oncology meeting going on right now, so nice look for a lot of these biotech names. In terms of weakness, there is quite a lot. Finance to the downside. Producer manufacturing pretty much right here across the board. Energy minerals very weak. Notably, Brent crude actually going below $80 a barrel for the first time since February, so that is something of note here. We also have some weakness in industrial services, with Waste Management announcing they're going to acquire Stericycle, so this one to the downside as well. We also have some sectors like commercial services, retail trade, and consumer non-durables that are a bit more mixed, but there are some clear areas of strength and weakness on this board here, guys.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And this is the time where you want to make sure that if you're not observing the areas of strength and weakness, this is a good time to do so. Because once you've got, to 1040 where we are, you should have a generally good idea of where your bread's being buttered, but what are the strong stocks. So like Novavax, we mentioned the news there with Adara. I'm looking for the dip down into the 16.5. Doesn't look like it's going to be VWAP just yet. I don't want the break. Looking for that dip buy. We keep seeing some questions here about Berkshire having issues at BRKA. There is an issue at the NYSE. So it's affecting not all stocks, but there are a bunch of names which have had like erroneous halts, and the trading has been inaccurate. Clearly, there's prices that are nonsensical. So just understand that there is almost no likelihood. Look, I'm not going to speak for what will happen here, but there's no one's getting printed at 185. Very unlikely on Berk A. Let's be real for a second. Anything that probably happened is likely going to get reversed. And when this gets settled, we'll let you guys know. There's a few stocks that have been affected by it. We're starting to get back into the pocket on GameStop. And again, there was a good point in the chat there. Someone just said, yeah, try to keep your winners big and your losers small if you can. The other thing you can try to do is just be with the trend. There's no question right off the open. Now, I made the one mistake I think I made today in GameStop, not trying the long up pre-market. I wish that was a short that was covering my long, getting out before it halted. But then on the reopen, I went for the dip buy at a level I liked instead of allowing it to show a bottom. Once it showed a bottom, getting a breakout of that bottom was a little bit easier than trying to catch a falling knife. If you catch a falling knife, you're going to get into a little bit of trouble. That SMR is another one, which is a stock that is down. Starting to see a little bit of weakness come into this market. Microsoft just broke VWAP. Apple is trying to press high. That's always been a strong one. I got the eyeballs on NVAX, which we still haven't gotten the bid, but ARM just failed underneath VWAP. So there's your push above VWAP. Okay, just got NVAX. I was in the bid. I'm like, why is it not filling me? It was a couple cents away. But I just got NVAX in front of that 50 level. But I'm going to short this next pop. Now that you've seen the fail on ARM over VWAP, it's breaking through that 126 level. If you wonder what 126 is, that is last week's high. So like Monday, last week, or Tuesday, I guess it would have been, it was holiday shortened week. So last week's top, 126 on ARM. Shorting back into VWAP off this one.
All right. I mean, my net is going higher and higher, but it's not showing it because it's stuck on this level too. But there goes GameStop again, just trying to bounce in and around $32. So that's going to be a level of a little bit of concern right there. We are still long GameStop as it's starting to go. You got to watch out for the bid. It's the ask that is all stuck. I could log out and back in.
My level one has both.
Yeah, the ask is right. I mean, the bid is right.
The quote you mean, yeah.
Yeah, the bid is
right. The level
right.
one's all screwed up.
Yeah. So the quote on the bid is right, but this is not right. So MEMX, BossX. I feel like if I did log out and back in, it would probably fix itself out. But right now, there goes Tesla right now. Hey guys, it's another Dollar Club member right there for Tesla. So good little move back up to the upside right now, right into the 50-period moving average. And this is a monster trade. This is like, again, PL number one by 10x. Right now. So there goes Tesla, monster move back up to the upside. So there it goes. I mean, this is why we stick to our guns. We like the trades that we post on here. We take them, and there it goes, right? You put the shares in, you put the risk on, and it is now paying off huge right now for Tesla, and we are pretty proud of that one. So again, congratulations anybody riding with me here on Tesla.
So you know what's been going on here. It's been a meme Monday. You're asking yourself, like, what has been happening and why? Look, it's pretty simple. Roaring Kitty posted the position on Tesla. Drops the, I got 116 milli. So strap it on in. Now, obviously, in the morning, this was up 70%. It actually tagged 90% to the upside. So this was the first post on Reddit in like 3 years for Roaring Kitty, and it was an update on the massive position that Keith Gill obviously has. I mean, whether it's Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, whatever alias you want to give to him, deep, you know what value. But the story at the open and what we've seen here is the other direction. So yeah, you were gapped up on strength. You got the motivation that clearly he still believes in the position from a personal standpoint. I mean, he's putting his own money at work. But at the open, it was a bit of a sell the news event here, Sean, which is a little different from the first time. Like when we got that first tweet, it was a big push to the upside.
Yeah.
Today, it was the gap up, and it wasn't so much of a hold. But this is purely Reddit-driven. It's purely social media-driven. It's trying to catch a bid right now, but it seems like the volume and volatility is right back in here, thanks to our good friend Roaring Kitty, the Apes champion.
Here we go, man. We are long right now at 28.50 on GME, but we've taken a bunch of shots today, including the pre-market, but straight to the downside. Look, I still think this has some juice. We wrote it down last week, Friday, long GME. It's on the sticky note. It's on my weekly review. The trade for this current week was long GME. So if you came in today and you had that trade, you captured 100%. I mean, long 20, 22, 23, up to 44, but that fade has happened, and there's that big red candle right back into 28 bucks again. So we'll see if it can hold. I mean, that last little level there, 29, it is trying to go. We've had some issues at the NYSE this morning, but right now it's $30.80. We're long right down here at 20.50. Looks like GME wants to go, but remember, you had some nice volume here off the open, 78 million shares. This guy owns 5 million shares. plus 120,000 call options with a $20 strike. So in order to get out of that name, you're going to have to sell. So if you're selling 5 million shares, I mean, some of these candles are only 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5 million. So watch out there. These candles only 1 million shares. So you're going to have to get out to realize profit. And when the masses sell, we don't know what's going to happen with GME. But as you can see, your boy's holding the line, baby. We're long at 28.50. You don't see no outs up here. Let's see if GameStop can get going through $33. It's going to be a wild ride. You can join us every single day live here at Trader TV Live. Your boy will be here. Neil will be here. This is $30. It's GME. It's exciting. It's Trader TV Live. Hit it, like it, subscribe, all of that. That's what we do every single day. All right, let's keep going now. That is that, and this is this. Right now, Tesla comes all the way back up and hit the damn sirens. Like I said, this is a monster trade here today. Biggest P&L name through the roof. It is Tesla, and it is wild today. Bunch of great little locations there. Some NYSE stocks now back opening. Oh, it was Barrick Gold. That's what it was. I was like, what gold name? Barrick Gold went down to 25 cents there or something on a halt.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
yeah, obviously that's...
Yeah, like there it was right there, 50 cents, 23 cents. So now resumed. And the other thing I can just tell everybody is if you got these positions in your account somehow, I don't know what exactly triggered, what the kind of volume was, but they're going to get broken. So do not trade out of them or else you'll wind up the other way. So this is not something where it was like a fat finger and the SEC will be like, okay, someone screwed up, you got them. Stocks don't drop from $17 to 25
It's like the flash crash is the only time. And even then, a bunch of those got broken.
Yeah, so I would just like to tell you guys that not only will we'll try to show you some banger trades, but give some advice to not get stuck in some of those.
I've seen it happen. I know there was a random stock that I was trading penny stocks way back in the day, and there was two of us that were trading a specific penny stock. We thought we'd get some, we knew the levels, so we thought we'd put some orders out in the pre-market and get filled. It basically printed through all of those and printed some ridiculous price. We're like, oh wow, that's a great fill. Let's get those bids. When we took those fills, I was like, there's something wrong with this. There's no way this should have printed. It's like a 50-cent stock. Why would it be printing like 10 or 11 cents? It was no news or nothing. And eventually. So I held for. I didn't get out of those shares. They ended up getting broken. The trader that covered those for like a monster win. It was like 12 cents, like 20 something or 30. The problem with that is when they break those 12s, that out at 24, 25, 30, those are now short positions because those end up being the real trades and the 11's broken, so it's like you were never even long. And that can happen. Now, thankfully, most people, now they actually resolve these things much faster. It used to take hours upon hours. Now they resolve them in a matter of minutes or half a day. Yep. So watch out for GLD. I didn't realize that was, gold there. I didn't realize that was one of the names. BRK for sure was one of them. There was another penny stock there as well. But just jumping back over to the market, I am in that Novavax trade, but guess what is still getting moked or destroyed is Dell. So we talked about Dell last week on earnings. All I wanted to see was a hold of the earnings bottom, and I was looking to dip buy the stock. Well, guess what? The good news is for a longer term play, you probably get a better price. B, if it doesn't hold the bottom, I don't have to look for a long. So I'm still waiting for this thing to make a low. That it holds more than a couple of days. It's getting pretty nasty for Dell, but fresh lows on this particular one. Novavax is the newest position that we got, buying a dip in here. It is a heavy short float, although I did not double check to see what it currently stands at. Still 32.5%. So really no change in the short float on Novavax. We're long back into the 16.5. I'm going to scalp into 17. If it breaks 17, I am not taking a break. I am holding through any break of the high of the day on Novavax. It's into some overhead resistance, so I'd rather hold into that. And then if it breaks, great. If it doesn't break, then I can just cover on the way back in. NVAX, it's got positive news. It's got a short float. It doesn't require someone just to tweet and then it goes up. It's actually really squeezing shorts right now. Let's go to Money Talks with Adair. It's already past 10:50.
Wow.
I need to pee.
The DXY continuing to find resistance here at that 105.10 level on the daily chart. We did, this is its third day in a row to the downside here, continuing to resist off that level. But let's see if it finds some support off that previous level of support and resistance that we're coming into around 104.20s. We did get some manufacturing PMI data today. S&P Global U.S. manufacturing PMI higher than expected, 51.3 versus 50.9 expected. But our ISM manufacturing data all pretty much coming in below expectations. For manufacturing, ISM manufacturing PMI, we get 48.7 versus 49.8 expected. And for manufacturing prices for May, we get 57 versus 60 expected. Some other economic data on watch. We have the JOLTS job openings coming in tomorrow at 10 a.m. So those will definitely be worth watching, in addition to factory orders also at 10 a.m. So a lot of economic data as well throughout the week, with S&P Services PMI final coming out. So stay tuned and see the rest of these numbers here, guys.
Thank you, Adara. Like, I cannot believe that. I can believe it because we did good. We did good by getting out of AMD. I'm not, we got out at 164.50 over here, and then it ripped to 165.50 or 165.30. So happy to get out of this. This was a monster trade there, and happy to be in it for sure. We did get out some more there right before this dump in, just trying to break through 50s. We got 65s out right there as Tesla came back in. And we're only giving this name to 179. So we'll buy some more down here, but we're not going to sit in this name that is Tesla right now. Well, we're going to sit into it. CRM trying to battle back today a little bit. It was higher, obviously up to 241. Huge move back up right there for CRM, but it is fading in right now. The belle of the ball will be Apple at some point for me today. Although I told you Tesla is through the roof right now, P&L wise. It's I want to put on just as many shares, if not more, of our boy here, Apple, especially if you come back into VWAP. So watch out for 193.90. And then a disappointment of the day, we don't have the lunch yet. So what is for lunch is whatever you're having, because I don't know what we're having. I'm
having this tangerine, apparently, if we don't. Well, no.
Yeah,
Whether we get the menu, lunch
GameStop is probably going to halt down right now. GameStop is coming in.
So stops ran just fine for me. Quote issues, no quote issues. I had a 30 stop. We broke 30 long. We were able to get most of it out, but I never really broke that 32. So 31, 32. I don't. It's hard to tell if it's at a halt band because we have stuck quotes. I don't think it's there just yet. I'm not sure it fell enough, but I can tell you no issues with the stop back through 30 even. Like, that was a pretty clean fill for me on GameStop. If it makes another break at the low, 26 is a level from not back in the day, but back in the day is kind of a weird way to look at it. No, but 26 would just be last week's top. So if a top turns into a bounce spot, that makes some sense. It was also a close in here on the 16th. It was support on the 13th. So if we don't regain this 30 and start holding it, I'm either getting back in at this level on higher lows or waiting for 26 even. So much like we waited for it to do this little rounded bottom and then higher low breakout, I would do the same thing here. That could just be like a 32 break. And then I jump into it on strength 32. There's still room to 35, put a 31.5 stop. So I'd rather be doing things that way than catching the falling sword. And AMC is still not really doing a heck of a lot, but trending into the downside as well. BlackBerry's kind of stopped moving.
I have good news. Quotes are fixed. So right there now, GameStop is now fixed. So
sure, I have a stuck quote. So
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's very, very close right now. I mean, it's printing the bid ask right now. It looks fine, but again, we hadn't seen it rip too much past these levels. So the quote issues were above this 30.50. So we could start to get stuck again. That is possible, but we did have a stuck 30.32. You can see right here. So we have stuck level 1s, but level 2 now working. So my P&L isn't ripping up or down yet right now. Shares of Pfizer, just talk here. Their CEO, I believe, now talking about how they've destroyed wealth of everybody and investing into them. But now Pfizer making a nice move back up to the upside right now. And let's see if it breaks a little bit on this one. That bottom of $25, $26 has been great right there. But, I mean, Pfizer's had a real rough couple years straight to the downside. So, again, a blue chip name that, probably needed to be bought up down there. Lots of different ways to do that. Of course, I like XLV, some of the healthcare, IBB, stuff like that, XBI. Biotech. So that's what we like right now. Tesla's still 70 cents in the money. Hey, we're still right here. Hey, Adair, how's it going? Right there. You brought me my water? Oh, for Sharif. Okay. All good. No, just playing around. Right there. All right, here we go. Now it goes back up through 180. Nice move right now. Back in. I mean, we're doing it again right now. Despite having this GameStop some horrible GameStop trades today. It looks like we'll be right where we need to be, man. We'll be on the podium. We'll be green. It's a good day so far for us here. Just would like to have GameStop rip just a little bit more and not tank down. So there it is. Now breaking back down. So there's the stuck quotes again. So like we had mentioned, we weren't sure of it because of where it stuck last time. Yeah. And it looks like MEMX. I think if I just hide that, it would be fine, but I want to have all the quotes for when we're opened up.
I have EdgeX and BATS issues too.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I think, look, at the end of the day, quotes are one thing, but execution's been fine. You can send your orders out there. Your chart still looks okay because your ticket's still looking good. So ultimately, you need to be able to see where the stock is trading and execute to be able to trade, and those two things are absolutely fine. So you've been okay. I have an order just to get the first out on Novavax here. We're going to take some. It just rejected 16.8, and then if we get up to 17, we're going to get a little more out, then we're going to hold through that break of the high of the day. We're just trying to be patient. But I jumped out of GameStop at that 30, looking for some kind of a higher low on strength. It could still do it here, and then your higher low could be a double bottom. But I'd like to see it go. Give me the rounded bottom. Show me a little bit of strength. I'd much rather just take the breakouts if that's what it's going to be on GME than these little dip buys, which have not really been working at all for me today. I got out of BlackBerry because I said, while I was sitting in this, if we don't get a crazy move into the upside, what do I expect to happen? BlackBerry to get back to where it closed. Well, it closed at 279. It just tagged 279, so I'm out of the trade. It's that simple. So for me, it's always about risk to reward. Don't want to put any losers bigger than what your average or relative wins are going to be. At the worst, GameStop for me was about as much as I made on BlackBerry. We'll see if we get green on GameStop. I'm probably going to try another couple longs on this stock today. I've seen GameStop do this all morning before, where you kind of bamboozle everybody on the gap up, but if it catches a bid throughout lunch, if it manages to hold some higher lows, then you get one of those 11:30 or 12:30 or 1:30 ramps when everybody's given up on it. So if we catch one of those breakouts, it's likely to be something in the 32 range for now. We can always play it by ear a little bit later, but it's 11 o'clock.
Not going anywhere.
Nope.
Okay. What's up to Donnie Zimbabwe? Thank you for the super chat so much there. He wanted to talk about Meta. So there it is right there, Donnie. You have 475 shorts on Meta. What do I think about it? Honestly, this is a play there that I wish I sort of maybe had saw it myself right there, 475. That's VWAP. It looks like we're trying to break lower. The market is sick with it today. And so, yeah, it does look like a decent move in there for Meta. So if you're going to have anything, I definitely think we like that one. Tesla is still that dollar in the money. Now that we handled our business right there, thank you to Donnie Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Donnie.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie. Let's go over now where we will have the midday show with both Sharif and Adara. As Big Patty Ice says, good luck to you all.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade.